still until we went live, which is
All
now.
right.
So, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Deadhead Podcast, episode 26. Feels good to be back. We got a lot of games to talk about today, and we figured this would be a full-on game announcement uh, show of the podcast. So, without further ado, how's it going, Jan?
Oh yeah, I'm doing just fine. I'm kind of playing through my backlog right now, like all these
Mm-hmm.
really small games that otherwise I would never play because
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to start anything too big that I want to commit to because FF16 is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing that. I've been clearing out all the leftover exams I have to do. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Summer is coming, and I love summer. So what about you?
Yeah. I'm doing okay. This is the first day that I've had a little bit of a break. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day from start to finish. So today I've been kind of lounging around. I didn't even go out for my morning run this morning because I've just been chilling around the house.
You run?
I'm down, but I have a confession to make. I have a
Oh,
confession to make, and I might have messaged you like vaguely about it, but I didn't really go into detail because I want to wait until we were face to face. But I'm down bad right now, man. I'm down
what
really really
happened?
bad right now. Yeah, like like a I don't mean to make this comparison might be dark, okay? It is, but it's kind of the same. I feel like I'm kind of like all right, like a drug addict, right? When they're trying to
All
weed off
right.
of when they're trying to get off of what they're on and they having withdrawals. That's kind of me
Okay.
right now. Only no drugs involved there.
But
So the reason why I'm so down bad is because I made the mistake of playing Final Fantasy 16 demo, and I
oh,
and I fell in love with it so much that these past 2 weeks have almost killed me to the point where like every game disgusts me. Like I don't
oh
want to
my
play.
god.
I tried to play games, but I turn it off immediately because I don't want to play anything else. So I'm hurting right now. I'm taking off the day it comes out. I'm taking off the entire day so I can play it because I need it. I'm like that bad off right now. So
Oh yikes. Well, that's kind of a rookie mistake playing the demo. I myself know a fall for that.
hmm
But I'm actually glad that you're enjoying it so much because I remember you were saying that you were excited for it, but not too much. You were more excited
hmm
about
yeah,
FF7 Rebirth. And now look
right.
at you. Look at what you've become.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, yeah, I was looking forward to it, but I guess like playing the demo, it ended in a way that, and again, it's not spoilers. I won't go into that, but it ended in a way that I was like, damn! Like as soon as it was getting to like the meat of it, then it just says Final Fantasy 16, and after you beat the demo, there's like a second other demo that kind of goes more into combat and stuff, where it really starts
Yeah,
to
I heard
open
about
up.
that.
And I couldn't believe that what I was playing was Final Fantasy. Like it has all the Final Fantasy elements that you know and love, but then it has this and this isn't really spoilery, but a very dark atmosphere. A very dark atmosphere. The music, like just sliding over so on your PS5 home screen, you can go over to what game you want to play. When
Yeah.
when my cursor is hovering over that game, the music will come on, and the music is so like it sounds like majestic but angry at the same time. Because if you look at the cover of the
Damn.
game and you see the main character, he looks a little irritated.
I mean, there's fire in the front cover. Yeah, I could tell that Inner Revenge plays a big part
Yeah,
in the story.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm really down bad right now. Like I've tried to go back. I'm like you though. Like I don't want to start over in another
Mhm.
game. Like I don't want to do that. I tried playing like Final Fantasy VII remake, the what's it called, the interlude intermission, is
Inter
that what it is?
in Okay, so the DLC is called Intermission, I think. Yeah.
I tried playing that and I can't because
Oh my god.
one it's not as good, and two I'm playing as Yuffie. I hate Yuffie. I can't stand her as a character.
Yeah, no, if it's terrible.
I'm sorry, I can't stand her.
Mhm.
I've tried. So I might try it again as we get closer to Rebirth, or I might just watch it on YouTube or something because
Oh,
I
you
can't
never
stand.
played it?
No, I've never played it. I've never played it before because I
damn.
can't stand her. Like I cannot stand her. She's annoying. She's very, very annoying to me.
Yeah,
So I
she's
just
the most
stopped playing.
anime of the cast, I'd say.
Yeah. Like if I'm going back to 7, I want to play as Cloud. I got to play as Cloud.
Right.
Barrett, give me Tifa, Aerith. I don't care. I love all those characters. I hate Yuffie. I can't stand it. So I
Oh,
just stopped. Yeah, I know she's gonna play. I know she's gonna play a bigger
she's
part.
gonna have a big role, yeah. So.
And I'm fine if she's like a party member. I just don't want to play as her like the only player. You know what I mean? I don't want
right.
that. Like if I'm playing as like a Cloud in the whole group, and then I can choose to play as her. No, that's fine. You know.
Well, I mean, I would still consider playing through it because it's really short, and the final boss of the DLC is bonkers. It's straight up crazy. I think you would enjoy it. Yeah, I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah. I like I said, I've tried to play it, but like I was trying to do all the side quests with her too, and they were so boring to me. Like go here. It's like you gotta follow these like little turtles. Do you know that one where you got to hear this turtle song and you got to try and find these posters on the wall?
I think so, man. It's been like years. I don't really remember what the side quests are about, which is kind of telling. But
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like Final Fantasy VII had some of those, like go here, collect this, and things like that. But like the main game had these same missions. But yeah, the Yuffie intermission DLC, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. And it's like with Final Fantasy 16 being the way it was, like the atmosphere, like how everything is, how mature it is, and you go back and play that.
Whiplash.
And you play as her, it's like I can't do it. So I've pretty much put Final Fantasy on the back burner until 16 comes out. But anyway, I wanted to get that out there. I'm really struggling right now with games right now until Final Fantasy comes out. So
I'm really sorry to hear that. You know, it's a kind of event everybody has to go through.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Well, see, I should have really. You said it best when I messaged you because I didn't know if you were going to check out the demo or not, and now I understand why you didn't because I'm probably never going to play demos ever again because I've never felt this way. I've never felt this way about I've always been excited like, oh man, I cannot wait to play this game. But now it's to the point where every game I play, I'm like, it fucking sucks. It just sucks. I don't want to play anything else.
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my spiel. I know it sounds pathetic, but I really cannot wait for the 22nd. I'm gonna stay up Wednesday night to play it, and then I'm took off all day on Thursday, so I'm gonna be playing that shit from sun up to sundown. I guarantee you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time though.
Yeah, dude.
You're gonna hate yourself. You're gonna hate yourself the day after when you have to go to work. But
oh, dude, because I know, man. Because like. I know we'll get into the games fest because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But what sucks about my job is since I've been in this profession, I've always worked like Wednesday through Saturday, and all the best games are released on the back half of the week. So while everybody else is at home or whatever, and they get to play the game, I have to wait until Sunday when I'm off to play it because I can play it in the evenings if I want to. But that's nowhere near enough time to get into a game. You know what I mean? Like to really dive deep into it. So
have a serious session. Yeah, you cannot do it in like an hour.
yeah. But anyway, no, I just coughed. My allergies are through the roof right now. I've been popping allergy medicine all day, and it's still just. I'm like my throat's closed.
That's another addiction right there. Just exchanging one for another.
Yeah. Let's just keep it. Hey, look, I'll exchange this shit for Final Fantasy 16. Give me that shit right now. I will never take another pill ever again if I can just get that.
Yeah, for real.
But anyway, all right. Well, so that was a long intro here, and that's fine. We were talking about Final Fantasy 16, which is an upcoming release, so we didn't get off track too much. We got a couple good announcements. Now, let me just say as a disclaimer on my side, and then I'd like to hear your side of it, Jan. The past few game showcases that we've had the past few years, I have not been impressed at all because a lot of it is either very few and far between of stuff that I want to play, and the rest of it is there's a lot of things announced, but it's only like cinematic trailers. It's not anything that's finite that I can really like hold on to. Like, okay, this comes out soon, I can get it. Like Wolverine, for example, right? That looked awesome, but we're still probably a little while out, especially after Spider-Man comes out, right? I don't know what they're doing with that. So I haven't really been impressed with the past few shows, and this one, I don't know. I'll get to it in a minute. What do you think about this showcase and the ones that come prior?
We are talking about the Summer Game Fest, right?
Summer Game Fest. I was gonna look at Xbox game, all that stuff. Yeah, I got all the tabs here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not as negative as you are. I think I've mostly kind of accepted the state of the industry right now, where we are more used to seeing announcements, right? Like my favorite thing that happens is when they give you like a short teaser, and at the end you have a date, and that's the date for the next trailer. So they're like, yes, a trailer for the trailer. But I don't know. Once you stop taking it that seriously, I think I really enjoyed Summer Game Fest. I just took out a couple of beers with a buddy, just watched it on a huge screen. And I think there was a pretty, there's some decent amount of gameplay there. We got Street Fighter gameplay last year. We got Final Fantasy 16 gameplay. We got Spider-Man 2 gameplay. Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake, yep.
Alan Wake 2. I don't know. I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't know, maybe call my standard as well. I don't know. But I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. Because like I'm looking at the list here, and so like, we don't have to keep going down a list because that's kind of boring. But just to name off a few that I'm seeing here. So something called Witchfire. I don't know what that is. Witchfire, I think is what's called. Witch.
Yeah. It's been. Yeah, I know. I remember seeing it, but I remember not being too impressed.
If it doesn't stand out to me, I'm kind of like I might check it out, but as of right now, whatever. You mentioned Alan Wake 2. You mentioned that. That obviously looks great. Goat Simulator 3.
That's already released, hasn't it?
Goat Simulator 3? It might. I don't know. I don't play this shit.
Was that a Summer Game? I don't remember.
That's what
By the way,
talking
about Witchfire. That was this like super edgy one, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not too into it as of right now.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it was an expansion for Goat Simulator. That's what it might have been.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. The problem, just like a sidebar, the problem that I have with all of these game showcases, and I don't know, I think me and you might differ on this, and that's all right. But one of the things I'm having an issue with is like every game, especially with the Xbox showcase specifically, but I got to throw PlayStation there. I got to throw the Summer Games Fest in there. A lot of games that are announced look very like, have you noticed like ever since Breath of the Wild got huge like it did, right? Every game is trying to like sort of emulate that, like really colorful, vibrant, cartoony kind of visuals as opposed to like a more realistic look to it. Have you noticed that, or I'm just like, am I being ignorant? Because it seems like to me, like a lot of games are doing that, and I don't know, dude. I'm starting to get a little irritated with it because look at it like this, right? We got the most powerful consoles, apparently, quote unquote, most powerful consoles. Well, definitely the most powerful.
Well, they're newest consoles, right? Yeah.
Right, and like you could literally push the boundaries with this, right? Like, I mean, like think about like I've been seeing you on PlayStation play Ratchet and Clank. Now that's a very cartoony game. However, look what that game can do. Like, look at all like the things it can do, go into different dimensions, how many characters on screen at one time. That's really, really impressive. But you see all that, and then they want to make it seems like a lot of games coming out are very cartoony, don't look like they push the boundaries all that much. I'm not saying it'll cost a bunch of money to make, but it doesn't really seem like they're really trying to push the boundaries. Would you agree with that? I mean, how would you feel about that?
I think there's like a deeper discussion to be had about this. First off, I don't know if I would blame Breath of the Wild. I totally agree with you. I mean, it's clearly a noticeable phenomena. Yeah, that a lot of games are going more for the cartoony art style and a very colorful art style. And at first, I'm always ready to blame the fact that they're trying to capture audiences, right? The whole thing where the modern human's attention span is like so greatly reduced that you need to assault the mind, all the senses with colors and bright stuff and sudden sounds and all that to capture our attention. That could play a factor.
Right.
But I'll tell you something. As games get, you talked a lot about how you find it really difficult to go back to old games, to like retro games, even games from like 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that I don't have the problem, but I totally see how, at least when it comes to the graphics, when it comes to the visual aspect of it, some games looks very antiquated. Especially, which games? The games that try to be more realistic, that try to push that realism
Right.
boundary. I think that games that went for a more cartoony look back then now have aged pretty well. Think of Kingdom
Right.
Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 1 came out like in 2001.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Great.
yeah, I agree.
Fantastic.
I agree. Yeah.
So take another game that came out around that period. Talk San Andreas. GTA San Andreas was huge.
Yeah.
Look at how it looks now. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah. Right.
So
I got you.
it might be it. So that might be it.
So what you're saying? That's a good point. No, that's a really good point. And actually, I think I might have heard someone say that before. But that is a good point. That I mean, I guess like if you make like what looks realistic right now, 10 years from now might not look as realistic. Like think about a game like like any of those games you mentioned. But like there was a game that came out back on PlayStation 1. I think it's called Mind Hunter, I think is what it is. Mind Hunter, I believe is what it is. It's basically you pretty much just killed people. Like you're like I don't know if you were like some kind of assassin or what it was, but you kill like random civilians. You had like targets and like you were told to kill somebody and you did it. And back in the day, I remember playing on PS1 and I'm like, man, this shit's really, really good. But then you go back and you look at it now and it's like really pixelated and it looks horrible, to be honest. So
janky, yeah.
Do you think maybe that's the reason why they're not really pushing the boundary as much?
Well, I wouldn't point a finger to one thing, but like I think there's a lot of stuff. Everything I've mentioned, both the fact that want to attract people's attentions, and there's that they age poorly, and there's also the fact that I think that they do games in general cost a lot to make, but I think that those hyper realistic games to the point where they push the boundary, as you say, like Naughty Dog games do. I think that costs a considerably greater amount of money.
Right.
And honestly, sometimes it doesn't even pay. Just think about The Last of Us Part 2. That game is just insane at how good it looks, right? But it still, fell short. People didn't like the story. People didn't like a grittier, more kind of depressing story. So maybe because of all those examples, developers are kind of discouraged to take that route. That'd be it. I don't know. I'm just throwing in ideas.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. Like, I get your argument, but would it's like in today's like era of gaming, right? Like. Think about it like this. Like, look at how the visuals are now, right? Like now, again, I guess you could look back and be like, well, we thought the graphics back then were fantastic. I agree. But like, if you can't deny the visual fidelity and how things looking like Horizon Forbidden West, right? Like, I feel like those are some of the best visuals we've gotten in gaming, period. I mean, do you think in 10 years time, we could think that looks like shit?
I've been wondering that a lot. I think
I'm curious
now. How much farther can we go? I mean, I guess we're only 10 years, but
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. Honestly, I think we've had this conversation before. I don't think we can get much better. To be honest with you, I mean, you can always add more detail, I guess, but then you got to watch out getting to that uncanny valley thing, because there's some dude. Speaking of which, there's a lot of people that get really freaked out by that. Really the uncanny valley where it looks human but it's not human.
I sometimes do myself.
Yeah, you get a little spooked, man. I mean, I'm not necessarily. It doesn't really affect me, but it's like, okay, that's a little creepy the way that looks. But like, I was playing, and again, dude, I'm down bad when it comes to gaming, so you're gonna probably look at me and smile when I say it. I downloaded The Last of Us Part 1 again just to play something because I have an itch that has to be scratched. I'm like, I don't want to start another new game where it's new fundamentals, new world, new story. Because like you say, I have a huge backlog of games, that I can play. But I didn't want to start all over again. But I'm playing through The Last of Us Part 1, and I'm looking at the facial animations, and I'm like, man, this is probably the best you can get. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I find it hard to believe to be like 10 years from now to be like, man, these graphics are compared to now, they're such shit. You know what I mean? I don't see that happening.
That's true. Well, yeah, I guess I don't know. The next step is just fucking plugging games into our brains, and I mean, it's like how realistic can you get?
It's either that or they're going to try to and you can already tell they're really trying to push VR, right? VR is something they really want to do. I mean, you see how much money PlayStation has put into their VR, and nobody's buying that shit. Nobody.
I mean, it's kind of cumbersome. And I think that, you know what, maybe that's the answer. I think that they'll stop progressing so much into the normal, let's call them games landscape, and they'll start progressing in VR. Because right now, like it's very much in its infancy. It's very cumbersome to use. It's not user friendly. Well, the PlayStation VR 2, from what I understood, is as ergonomic as you can get, but it's still kind of a bitch to set up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, anything you got to wear on your face to play a game, man. That's what throws me off, is that you got to. I mean, obviously, how else are you going to do it, right? But you got to put it on your face, like, so you have to know.
You don't like that.
You have to be ready for that shit. Like, okay, I got to wear this thing on my face for the next however many hours I'm going to play.
That cannot be healthy, right?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. But, I mean, for it to be on your face for, like, longer than, like, 2 hours, probably not. I do it for 30 minutes and I feel sick. That's why I don't do it. And another thing, too, is the PlayStation VR 2 is, like, what is it, like $500?
It's right $500,
now? And that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
It costs as much as the console.
I'm sorry, man.
That you need to play the headset.
Yeah, dude. You would have thought for $500 they would have added like a little like attachment to the VR headset. Like, okay, if you don't have a PS5, that's fine. You can only play like PS5 VR games. You can't play anything else. That would have been fine. But $500 just for the headset. Sony ought to get shit for that. And it's not selling, dude. Everywhere I go, I go to my local Best Buy, there's boxes full of it. And I've thought about it, but I'm sitting there like, dude, $500, that's not worth it for me. If it came down to $350, I'd probably buy it. I probably would. But I'm not paying $500 for it.
I don't know. Maybe get like a package deal, get some games along with it.
There's one deal on the PlayStation website where you can get the Horizon game, the Horizon Call of the Fire. Yeah, but that's like $550, $600.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, all the games that are on there are some games that I would like to try, that I would like to be able to play, on a regular basis. Like, maybe Beat Saber looks all right. Horizon looks all right, but super hot in VR would be cool. But that's the issue, they're just all right. I'm not going to be spending 500 plus euros or dollars for something that's all right. That's not. It's something I would get like if it were like on super sale on the digital store, right? And get it for like $30 or something. Then I would consider it. But I'm saying we need but we need some scapegoats, right? Not scapegoats. We need some lab rats, some people who actually have to try this stuff. Go through the whole process that 3D games have gone through, right? 3D games were like super awkward at first, and then slowly we kind of figured out what works. And we need to do that with VR too. And I don't feel like being a lab rat. I don't feel like doing that. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it would have to be like, because I had a guy, and shout out to him. He's been watching the show, at least every other show we do. He's a buddy of mine, and he actually hit me up through Messenger on Facebook, and he asked me if I wanted to use his PlayStation VR 2 to review it for the channel.
Oh.
And I thought about it, but I was like, one, I don't like using someone else's shit. And it's no offense to him. It's just like something happens, I drop it, crack it, then I owe you $500. You know what I mean? The second thing is, it's just like for me, VR, just, I don't know, dude. I'm just not quite there. Like my father-in-law, he's a big PC guy, big PC dude. And he's got the Oculus Quest 2 or whatever the hell the newest one is. And he tells me how amazing it is. And it's like, I don't know, man. I just can't get into it. I just can't. Like, I've tried it. I get sick.
You're not even curious at all to try the VR 2. You just don't care.
I think, look, if I promise you, if it comes down to $300, I'll buy it. But I'm not.
But you're not gonna get it from your buddy. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm not paying honestly, as big spender as I am, I buy shit twice. I buy controllers, I buy headsets. I'm not buying that because it's like again, like the only games I would play is I would check out Resident Evil Village in VR. Right, I think that would be fun to
Or
play.
4.
Oh yeah, 4 comes out, but that's not out yet. But that would be a reason.
By the time it goes down to $300, you know.
Correct. Now I will tell you, like, Jan, that's a good point. If that comes out and the VR drops by $100, I may scoop that up because then
that's
it's
a
like
bargain.
I got to play Resident Evil 4 in VR. I think that'd be fun. Like I think that would really be fun.
So what you're saying, you're only buying it if it's an excuse to play Resi 4 again. That's what you're telling me, pretty much.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, so we'll move on from that. Yeah. So, but that is a good point, though. Like I think that might be the reason why games. I wouldn't say they've like gone backwards per se, but more of they're not really pushing the boundaries. They're not really
stagnating a bit.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I understand if that's the case, but I'm also disappointed because it almost seems like now. I can show you the Xbox game showcase or whatever, and every game that was announced, it looked like it was made for kindergartners. Like each game looked like a game for kids. And I don't know.
Be careful there. They announced the Persona 3 remake. You gotta be careful, you know. Those fighting words around here.
Well, look, Persona, whatever. I'm not into that, but obviously that would be what I would avoid because I know that's got older themes. I know that's a little bit different. Everything else looks like Dora the Explorer, and I'm just not.
I haven't seen the Xbox showcase, so I really don't know what you're referring to.
I'll read off the list and I'll see.
Okay, I'll Google them. Wait.
So the next one that I'm looking at, and this is just back on the summer Game Fest. So I mentioned Goat Simulator 3. You had told me that was already out.
Probably an
apparently.
Expansion, yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's DLC or whatever. Stormgate. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not.
It looks like it kind of reminds me of like a Diablo kind of thing. Maybe not, but it kind of has that same type of look to it. I guess they're coming out with another Cuphead.
Are they?
Yeah, Cuphead, the Delicious Last Course is what it's called. I don't know if it's DLC or if it's an actual.
Dude, that's the DLC that came out last summer. What are you?
Oh, it did?
Where are you getting this news? I think you're looking at the
list. Oh, it does say 2022. No, I'm looking at this one. They must have threw these in because I got this. I see Alan Wake. I see Lies of P. I see that one.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, those are the new ones. Lies of P.
Yeah, they must be throwing in like other stuff. My bad. So we'll skip Cuphead. Lies of P. Have you tried the demo for that?
I have not, but I've seen streamers play it. As from what I understood, it's just it's like a Souls game, but with Pinocchio, and like edgy Pinocchio. Which
the game I tried it out. You know me, I'm not much into those games, but it looks absolutely magnificent. The game is.
Are you
stunning.
Like it?
It's stunning as hell, dude. For that alone, I probably will get it. Will I finish it? Probably not. Let's see. Marvel Spider-Man 2. Obviously, you know that's a cop, but that's PlayStation. But I think they're just putting some stuff on here.
I mean, are we going to talk about that fantastic trailer
for
how we got for Spider-Man 2?
We're going to talk about that? Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned
Go ahead.
it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Yeah. No, I just for anyone who hasn't seen it, so how it worked is that they announced at the very beginning of the showcase of Summer Game Fest, they said, yeah, we got like a very good, very like a fantastic surprise, a real treat for you by the end. And at the end, you know what happens? He starts playing this trailer. It's like in a forest, right? So we're like, ah, shit, it's not Spider-Man. What is this? And then like you see a guy, like it kind of looks military. He's like wearing camo and everything. And he gets killed off by this guy off screen, and then we realize, oh shit, that's Kraven. He's wearing the hunter. So this is Spider-Man, and also confirms Kraven because ever from the first trailer, the first trailer only shows Venom, but there is this monologue like playing in the background about someone looking for how does it say? Looking for someone that's on his level, right? Looking for a challenger that's on par as him. And anyone who has any familiarity with the comics would say, okay, it's Craven, right? So to actually see him revealed like that was pretty nice. And then we also got another reveal. We finally saw. They're all things that were pretty. No, we knew they were going to happen, but actually seeing them is nice. The black suit. I don't know how you feel about the black suit, but to me, it's one of the best story arcs in the comics. I love it, and I like almost every iteration of it. In the cartoons or in the movies. I love it. I love this whole idea of the battle within, right? How Peter has to fight his darker side. And in that trailer, it looks fantastic. Yuri Lowenthal just makes it work. You have this Peter, who's he has this evil voice, right? He's got you got Miles saying, "Oh, Peter, watch out! That guy's got teeth." And Peter goes, "So do I."
So do I.
And as Pete is on the
sidebar though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Sidebar. I don't mean to cut your monologue off, but the one thing I will say is now that we know what Peter's like, with them changing Peter's face, right? I don't imagine that Peter Parker being angry. Like, he just looks like a little kid to me. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. I'm sorry. Anyway, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
No. I completely agree. Thanks for interjecting me. I hate the new Spider-Man face. I don't know why.
Terrible. It's terrible.
Like, you know what? I could get over the grief of losing the old one, even though I really liked it. I can get over that grief, but the new face is just an insult. Like, I'm sorry. It's such a baby face. Like, I know that Americans have baby faces mostly, but it's not. That's too much. Like, no offense. It's just something people say. Not my words. I'm just a messenger. Okay. So I'm not talking about June specifically, but anyhow, that's way too much a baby face. Just saying, oh well, this shows his age more, bro. He looks fucking 16.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you on about?
Yeah. He doesn't look like a Spider-Man that's been through some shit, right? Because like
he really
for him to be Spider-Man like now 9 years, right? Because I think it was like 8 years in the first game, and I think Brian, the director of this game, he said that it's based like 10 months after Spider-Man PS4. So now he's been Spider-Man for 9 years, and this dude don't look like he's been through anything. This dude looks like he hasn't even been to prom yet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, this guy doesn't look like he even lost his V card. I mean, not shaming virgins, just for comedy.
Okay, I'm not shaming virgins.
I'm really not. Just putting my hands up. But anyhow, that is, and I actually haven't even thought of that. Because, I mean, obviously, we're going to see the Peter portions of him being angry, right? Saying, oh, screw you, MJ, with that kind of face. I mean, I just hope, like, the voice work is so good that I'm kind of hoping that it pulls through, right?
Yeah. But, I'm sure it will. I have faith. Yeah, Yuri is such a great actor. Like, he's been in so many things, and his voice is. It's funny that he's in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. He plays Rick the Door Technician. Rick the Door Technician.
No shit. Really?
Yeah, so he's running at you. He's one of the legendary bosses, but he literally all you can do is force grab him and throw him down the hole there, or you can kill him with one swing and he's done. But
I think I have a clip of him of me just killing him in one wall fell swoop.
Yeah, that's him. He's screaming when he's screaming at you, like it actually sounds like Spider-Man. He's like, "I got him, don't worry," and then you just hit him one time and he's it. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yuri's awesome. Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah,
and I'm curious to see. Okay, there's one thing that I'm worrying about. They're having 3 main villains. We got Venom, we got Lizard, and we got Craven.
Right.
So I don't know about you, but the last time we had this many villains and having such a big focus on each of them, because I know their first game for like the Sinister Six. But 3 big villains, having a big focus on each of them, which seems like the case, right? The last time we did that was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, the movie. And we all know how that went.
Well, here's the thing, too. Like, all right, so I don't... like you said, seemingly, right? Lizard is supposed to be somewhat of a focus, but don't forget, there's also Norman Osborn as well. And I feel like he's gonna fit into it some way. You're gonna see the Goblin. They were already planting the seeds on him. Anyway, like what is it? It's at the end of the DLC. Am I thinking about this right? Like the end of the 3rd episode of the DLC, the City That Never Sleeps. Isn't there a scene
with Norman Osborn?
Yeah, isn't there like a scene where he's looking at like some like machinery and shit, like some bombs?
Mm-hmm. I
I
don't
could be
remember what it
wrong
was,
about
but
that.
yeah,
I could be
it's
wrong
not at the
about
end of
that.
the DLC or the main story, but I don't know what you're talking about. It's
Yeah. He's like
it's
looking at
on,
some stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and supposedly there's like Harry in a tube, and we all know like Peter and MJ. They all think that he's like in a vacation in Europe or something, but actually he's
Yeah.
sleeping with the I don't know, with his
Yeah.
dad in his dad's lab.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
have a theory about that. So at Summer Games Fest, actually, I got it all wrong. The reveal of the Marvel of Spider-Man 2's gameplay was not a Summer Game Fest. It was at the PlayStation
PlayStation
Showcase. I made
Showcase.
a
Yeah.
fool of myself there. Yeah. At the Summer Game Fest, all we got was a release date, the 20th of October, and we got that one image of Miles and Peter fighting Venom.
Yeah.
And he answered some questions. Like I don't remember who it was. I think that lead game designer.
Yeah,
I don't remember
that's
honestly.
Brian. Yeah, that's Brian. Yeah,
Brian, that's him.
I can't remember what his last name is, but yeah.
And he said that Venom isn't Eddie Brock. This
That's right.
new story. What if? No. What if Harry is Venom in this story?
Well, that'd be kind of predictable, though, wouldn't it? Because like
Well, it would, but-
you see him in the tank with which what looks like to be the symbiote. I don't
that's
think
right.
it is. I don't think it.
Oh,
I don't
no?
think it's Harry, man. I don't think it is.
You think they're throwing us for a loop? They're making us think it's Harry?
You know what a good theory I saw, and you might not
Hmm.
like this too much, but one
Oh,
because
no.
Brian said it was going to be something different, but all the things about Venom that we know and love is going to be there, but the story behind him is going to be different. I wonder if it's
Mhm.
going to be Craven. I wonder if it's going to be Craven.
Oh, I actually
That
kind
would-
of like that.
Look
Yeah,
how
I mean, it wouldn't
massive.
be the first time.
Look how massive Venom. Like Venom is already big, right? But look how
Mhm.
massive Venom is, and look how big Craven is. What if Craven and the symbiote combined? That would be,
That would be cool.
that'd be kind of different.
I mean, and it wouldn't
I
be
don't
the
think it'll
first time that the symbiote latched onto another Spider-Man villain. He latched onto Scorpion in the
That's right.
comics and made a new Venom. So it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Um, Although, like one of the cool things about Venom, at least to me, was that he's not like like pure evil, right? He's not an evil for the sake of it. When he talks about Spider-Man about what he's doing, he always gives like a twisted reason for it. Like I think in the original comics, it was all about Eddie Brock turning to religion, to Christianity, right after his life fell apart, and the symbiote kind of latched onto him in this moment of weakness, and turned his faith into hatred. So there's these moments when Spider-Man and Venom, they're kind of talking while they're fighting, obviously, but they're like talking, "Hey, why are you doing this?" He's saying Venom is giving like this very crazy ideas about how he's doing the right thing. And there are some moments where he shows lines he won't cross, like he saves a little girl that's that got endangered because the wreckage they're fighting caused. And if Craven latches onto the symbiote, we wouldn't have that. But it would be different, so I would be okay with it. I wouldn't mind at all, and it would kind of help make the whole story a bit more concise, because as we said, we have like 3 completely distinct villains.
Right. Well, have they? I didn't know if you knew this or not, but have they said? And when I say they, I mean Insomniac. Have they said that how many games this is going to be? Like, is this going to be like
No.
a trilogy of games, or? I'm curious to
Not
see
that I
like
know.
what. I'm curious to see what the end game. I know I'm not trying to rush this series away because it's a series we both love, but I am curious to see like what are they planning on doing with it? What are they leading up to? You know what I mean? Because like, are they going to do the thing where Peter dies and Miles? That we just talked about this last week with Across the Spider-Verse, right?
Mhm.
Like, are they going to try to do something like that? Or are they going to do it in this one? I hope not, but they could. They could. Maybe.
No, it is possible.
Yeah, like what I'm curious about is so in that the photo they showed, right, when you see Spider-Man, both Spider-Man and Venom fighting up in the air, right? He has the spider on his chest, right? So he's already attached to Peter at one point, right?
Yeah, I always imagined that Venom's going to be like the final villain, right?
Okay.
because
Right.
you fight off Craven and the Lizard as Black Suit Spidey, and then we just kind of I think it's the right way to do it, right? Because that way you got this whole story arc about because one thing that I never liked about the new Venom movies is that it has no ties to Spider-Man, which it's not like it has to. I'm not being a purist, but the whole cool part about the symbiote is that the reason why it latches onto Eddie Brock is because they both hate the same person. That's what that gets them together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would hope that, I would hope that we got the whole rigmarole where Peter starts getting a bit too comfy fighting in the dark side, and maybe this time Miles helps him snap out of it.
Hey,
And,
think about how badass that fight's going to be, Miles versus Peter. Think about how bad.
Shit.
You know what's going to happen. You already know.
Oh god, I love it so much.
That fight is going to be awesome.
I'd love it. You know the part of the trailer, like at the very end, when there's Miles saying, Genki asks Miles, he asks him, is he always like that? And Miles goes, no, he's never like that. Someone uploaded a clip on YouTube, but put the Spider-Man 3 soundtrack in the background. Exactly that one. And it's so good. Kind of just love little Spidey.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's people resonate with Venom and this whole story arc so much because it is one of the most interesting. I for one, I'm gonna sound old school. I've always liked the Goblin and Spider-Man's dynamic. I've always liked that Norman Osborn and Peter Parker. I've always liked that a bit, like a little bit more. But I do love Venom. Like, and it's gonna be fun to finally see that done in a really really good way. So I'm all excited for it. I'm ready. I actually went to a better list here. So Spider-Man 2, obviously, I've already pre-ordered it. By the way, my copy is already secured. So, what about that
standard edition?
Yeah, I'm just pre-ordering the standard, and digitally, I might get the edition where it has like 5 suits for each. I think like if you pre-order the deluxe digital for I think so the standard 70, the deluxe digital is 80. You get like 5 suits for Miles, 5 suits for Peter, and I was like, well, I think that'd be kind of cool. So I might just pay the extra $10 and do that because I would like to get that. And then I think it comes with like a couple extra skill points, which I don't give a shit about that. But
yeah, that's kind of lame. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I probably won't
even use the balancing of the game. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I would like to get those. I mean, I guess I don't have to. You could probably get those suits some other way, but I don't know.
So there's if you pre-order any edition of the game, you also get these 2 suits, and it clearly says that you get them earlier, which means that you can get them in the game. But when it comes to the 10 suits you mentioned, the deluxe edition, I think those are exclusive. But honestly, I mean, if you like them, I respect it. But I've seen the suits, and I'm not sure they're worth $10.
Yeah, because
they're kind of whatever.
Yeah, because some of them have a lot of them have the hood, right? Is it a lot of them are wearing isn't he wearing a hood for both of them?
Those are the pre-order ones. Those are the pre-order ones, the ones with the hood, and those are okay. I just don't like the ones. There are a lot of robot-y, futuristic ones, and I'm not too much into those. I'm like, okay, it's cool, I get it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I need to, because I think I saw a couple that I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I'd like to get those, but I have to go back and look and see what all comes with it. If it's more of the futuristic type suits, and I might just say screw it and just stay with my standard too, because it's. What about that collector's edition, man, for $250?
Dude, if it weren't that expensive, I totally get it.
I would too.
Statue, that thing. That's so sexy.
The steel book, dude. I love steel books. The steel book is the cover art that we were just talking about with both of them fighting Venom. Yes,
it is. Yeah,
I gotta find that somehow.
Honestly, but you know what's the biggest cop out? It does come with a steelbook, but it does not come in the normal case, and it doesn't even come with the disc.
Yeah, digital only. Dude, that's so stupid.
What the fuck? Honestly, I mean, this is nothing new. I think that Mass Effect Andromeda did this years ago. Just this hilarious video. I think it's by IGN, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was from some other YouTuber. And he's unboxing this huge collector's edition, right? And you get a shit ton of gadgets, and at some point he opens the steelbook, right, and it's empty, and then he reads the back of the box and it says "game not included." That is just, and there's like
that's
crazy.
That's crazy, man. Anyway, well, I could talk. I know we could probably talk about Spider-Man all day, but we got a few things we can go back over. We can circle back around.
Sure thing.
So this is my bread and butter because I know Spider-Man is for you. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think that deserves a few minutes of our time.
Definitely.
I am so goddamn excited for that game. Like honestly, I was just talking about Final Fantasy 16. I do like it, and I'm sure I'll love it. I'm sure I will, but I'm sorry, it does not.
Does not compare.
Well, not to my excitement. Like I'm excited for 16 because it's like I played the demo and I was like, holy shit! Like this is same but different, and you'll know what I mean when you start playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, let's go ahead and agree on it now. Let's do our next episode. We're gonna have Emma on from Once Upon a Quest. But maybe the next one we can give our first impressions. How about that? First impressions.
Oh, definitely.
Final Fantasy 16. Okay, good.
I'm not gonna play day one, but I'll play it close because I'm not gonna be traveling.
Yeah,
on that day.
That works. No, that works, man. No, it's and again, we don't. I'm not expecting us to get like full into. Dude, there's a lot of moving pieces with it, but I that would be cool to do a first impression. So let's definitely keep that in mind for.
Definitely do that.
But yeah, no, 7 Rebirth. It looks good. It looks like it has a little bit of some like open world action going. Would you agree?
Not only agree, I think they confirmed it. They confirmed there's going to be a lot more exploration going on.
Okay, that's good.
So, which is in line with the original. In the original, as soon as you leave Midgard, that's when the open world starts.
Yeah, right.
You can it gets a way more open-ended. And that trailer was cool. They showed a lot of things that people who played the original game would recognize. There's Cosmo Canyon, the old guy in the chair. I don't want to spoil too much things for you.
Yeah,
but the whole thing with the old guy in the chair, showing him the elements, that's really tied to Red 13. I'm going to be learning some of his backstory. What else have we seen? We've seen another Genova fight. So I'm guessing that we're going to have one in each game, in each part of the trilogy at this point, I think.
Yeah, that'll be an ongoing thing until the series is done, which is. But it looks. I mean, like again, we go back to what we were talking about before with like graphics and visuals and all that stuff, and you still got some of those same whiny ass people that sit here and say, "Oh, this game doesn't look any different," and yada yada yada. Like everything still looks the same. It's like, bro, I think it looks absolutely immaculate. What does it really need to do? How much further do you really need the visuals at this point? It looks to me, like when it gets to that first open world area and you see these mountains, like these mountains and like in the background, and you got these windmills spinning around, and you see Cloud and the whole gang fighting these like creatures out in the wild. I'm like, it looks great. It looks phenomenal. I can't wait. I really
honestly,
cannot wait.
And if I may, I am actually glad that the visuals are consistent throughout the whole remake trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Because I would hate that. That's one thing that I was really worried is that once all 3 games come out, if you want to play them back to back, get a whole remake experience, you're going to be caught in a whiplash where, one game is clearly more modern than the other one. Or vice versa, right? You play one of the older ones and you have clashing visuals. I'd much rather have them look pretty similar, so that the way that it actually feels like a trilogy, right?
That's right.
And you were going to say something. I was just going to.
No, it's okay. I was clearing my. Yeah, I was clearing my throat, man. My allergies are acting up. My bad. I won't try to cut you off. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, why would I want it to be different? I think the battle system is no doubt one of my favorite. We talked about this in an episode with Lyra. I love the battle system. It's a good mix. You know what I mean? Like, all right, look, if I can say anything negative about 16 is the fact of it doesn't have the combat system that 7 Remake has. And that's not really a negative. That's more of a preference. I enjoy the combat in 7 so much, having the, where you can pause time and choose like what magic you want to use, what summons you want to use, different abilities, and then you can do the hack and slash stuff. You know what I mean? You have different stances, right? You have your quick stance where you can throw a couple attacks at one time, and then you can go to your heavy stance. Then you can pause time. You can switch characters. I like that combat style a lot, like a lot. Final Fantasy 16 does not have that. Now, to some people, that might be. And I don't look. I'm telling you, man, and I'm sure you've heard it too. There's some people saying that this is not a real Final Fantasy game at all. Final Fantasy 16.
What, 16?
What I'm talking about. Yeah.
After 15?
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, the thing is, man, like let me ask you this, because I don't really remember what your verdict was. Did you like Final Fantasy 15? Did you like that game?
Not really. I like what it's trying to do, but honestly, like, I cannot in good faith say that it's something I enjoyed.
Right. Okay. So
there are parts of it. There's some parts of the game where I kind of see what they're going for. And there's some really small parts where I'm actually amazed because I kind of see the big picture that he's trying to form. But altogether, it's just a mess. And people keep saying that, well, now with all the updates and DLCs that have been added on through the years, now it's the complete game. It's really not. It's really not, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, first off, because whatever you're gonna do, the main game is gonna be that what it is. The main story is still gonna be, very scattered. And I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but just to answer, I'm not a fan.
Right.
I like 13 more than 15. Yeah, we already said it.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I think most people would say that 13 is when it started going kind of downhill, and 13 still had that now, correct me, it still had that turn-based combat stuff, didn't it? With lightning.
Yeah, it did. It's like 7 remake where they tried to make a hybrid.
Okay, I got you.
The 13 had the really big misfortune. I think a really cool combat system, but the way that the tutorial works, the way that the game kind of teaches you about it, really made a lot of people hate the game because it pretty much holds your hand for 2/3 of the game. 2/3 of the game is pure tutorial. And only at the end, you finally get to enjoy this great battle system. So a lot of people say that 13 is a game that plays itself. There's so much hand holding at the beginning.
Yeah, I saw that there was it didn't really bother me too bad. I mean, it was kind of killing the gameplay for me when I was playing the Final Fantasy 16 demo, and you'll see that when you play it, because the demo was essentially the first 2 or 3 hours of the game, very very cutscene heavy. So when you did get to the action sequences, you had pop-ups come up on your screen every time you did something. Every time you swung your sword, there was a friggin' pop-up that said, keep hitting so-and-so to do this. And you're like, okay. You close out of it. You got to do some kind of magic. And then another pop-up will come up. Keep doing this God. So you can. And it was kind of starting to get to me because you're in the heat of battle, right? You've been sitting in cutscenes for the past 10 minutes. I'm probably exaggerating. But you've been sitting in cutscenes for a long time. You're just like, man, I'm just ready to play the game. And you start getting to combat, and these pop-ups keep coming up. And I saw this guy, I was scrolling through TikTok, and this guy came up, and he was streaming the game on his channel. And dude, every time these pop-ups would come up, he would freaking lose his shit. Because he's like, I just want to play the game. This thing keeps popping up every time I go to do something. And he was losing it. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty annoying. So, and the thing is, a lot of RPGs, Final Fantasy in particular, they do kind of talk to everybody like they're kind of they never played an RPG before.
A game.
You know what I mean? Or a game. Yeah, or a game. Yeah, that's probably more specific. Yeah. So
honestly, in that aspect, I think we've really gone backwards when it comes to video game design. I completely support the idea of accessibility, games for everyone. Sure, it's great. There are some games I don't see this as much today, but I saw it a lot in the PS2 era games. At some point, right after you got a few pop-up messages, the game would tell you, "Do you want to switch? Do you want to switch the suggestions off?" And you fucking switch them off. And it's that easy, right? That way, you're still accessible to new gamers, and you're not boring the shit out of the old ones. Honestly, if no two games are the same, so there might be some mechanic that is unique to this game. I'll just look it up. Literally, just have an in-game manual where I can look this shit up if I'm not sure about something. I mean, I guess it's not true that some modern games did that too. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart had that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's yeah. But no, I agree that it's obnoxious as hell when the game just fucking assaults you with pop-ups.
Yeah, I see it. I see it every once in a while too. And the thing is, when you have that many pop-ups, it starts to get a little overwhelming. You're overwhelming me with trying to show me how to play. So instead of it just like show me a little bit, give me to cut it off, and then there's a reason why they have a control page in the settings where you can look at the controller scheme and figure out how to play. So, but yeah, no,
all the text.
Yeah.
No, sorry if I cut you off. I was saying all the text. It really starts getting to me, and as someone who reads from time to time, so I'm not like someone that hates reading.
Yeah.
But it really drags on the action, right? Like I strike an enemy once, and the game says, "See what you did there? You attacked an enemy with this vulnerability." When that happens, then you have like a huge paragraph like that, and then you go ahead, and then you find out it's like 3 pages of that. I'm like, holy.
Yeah, dude. I hate the ones where it'll pop up, and then at the bottom it'll say 1 of 3. It's like, fuck, man.
Yeah,
like, it was doing that in the 16 remake, like, and there's a boss you encounter in the game. It's super cool set piece. I'm not going to go into detail there, but when you run into it, it's a familiar Final Fantasy enemy that we've seen before, and you're fighting it, and it kind of took a while to chip down its health. Like it was taking a good bit, and it's supposed to be because you're kind of weak, But like it got to the point where I was dealing some massive damage, and then this pop-up came up, and it said, "You just staggered the enemy. This is what this means." And it gives you like 2 paragraphs, and it said it said like 2 of 4, and I'm like, what? 4 pages? I said, fuck that, and I just clicked off. I'm like, what are you explaining?
Honestly, I get it. Maybe staggering has some particular properties, right? I don't know that you can and you can take advantage of, right? First off, let me figure it out on my own. I think that's one thing that I really like about games, figuring shit out on my own. Like again, if someone is not that serious of a game, more of a casual gamer, or maybe is not that great at them, I'm completely for games giving tips. But please don't bombard me with them. Let me have the chance to figure shit out on my own, because that's part of the charm for me. Because honestly, if I already know everything about a game, that means that I'm already, I'm playing something that I've already played, with a different.
That's right.
With maybe different characters and some variations, but it's the same thing I've always been playing. And for someone who's been playing games, for a good chunk of their lives, games might start getting boring for me if they keep doing that shit. So.
Yeah,
there's that. I think that's why so many people are flocking to the Souls genre, right? Because its difficulty is not as much in the fact that it's in the figuring it out. I think that once you figure out how the combat in those games works, it gets much easier, right?
Yeah.
I think that's most of the fun with figuring stuff out. So, those are my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I agree. I think when you get to the point where you're pretty much holding everybody's hand, it gets a little irritating. So. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks good. Looks very good.
It does.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Yes. Yeah, give him a bit more time. Yeah.
And I'm wondering how they're going to balance out, because they get introduced a lot of characters. And if a lot, I'm thinking, without spoilers, at least 3 more, right? Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big roster, which is normal. Like, it's normal for an RPG to have, about 8 characters. But usually they're not as this in depth, 7 Remake had only 4 playable characters, but they balanced it out. By each of them, being really in depth, you control each one individually. They have multiple stances and all of that, different properties. How are you going to do that with 8 fucking characters, dude? It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, so, I mean, the game has to be long, right? You would think that it has to be a pretty long game, but I welcome it though. It's not to unless it's just monotonous side quests that are just go here, get this, go here. I'm fine with it.
I wouldn't I wouldn't be worried about that, because they have a lot of ground to cover. Because they're saying this is a trilogy, and Midgar, just the Midgar part, is far from being 1/3 of the game.
That's right.
That's like a very small portion of it. They have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be worried about too many fillers this time.
No, but I'm beyond excited, man. And I think it's set to like early 2024, hopefully.
Early
right?
2024. I mean, they
So-
started saying winter, like this next winter, and then early 2024. So I'm thinking February or March.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like March.
Yeah.
I'm thinking March is probably realistic, which is fine because as we're about to go through, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that'll keep us busy, and I mean, with 16
that's
coming
true.
out, Spider-Man, all that kind of, I'm not gonna have enough time, so I'll be okay,
Oh, I welcome it too. Yeah.
So we'll try to get through some of these quicker ones. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. What do you think about that?
Oh my God, dude. Okay, so I've always liked Prince of Persia, even
I do
since I was a kid. I love Prince of Persia. Like, okay, I started with the Sands of Time. I'm a 2000s kid, so my first experience with the franchise was the PS2 trilogy, right? Sands of Time, Border Within, and the Two Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since that trilogy, we've seen a lot of attempts to reboot the franchise. We got 2008, which I liked a lot, but a lot of people hated it at the time. And then the Forgotten Sands, which my 10-year-old self really liked, but now I'm kind of neutral about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they announced that Sands of Time remake, which is stuck in the open hell from all we know. I find it funny how every year the developers feel the need to post an announcement saying, "Okay, so we cannot show you anything, but we promise we're working on it." And that's pretty hilarious. And the fact that the new game is coming out before the remake is fantastic, considering that the remake was supposed to come out in like 2021.
Yeah. Which one has Nolan North voicing the Prince of Persia?
That's the 2008 reboot, the one that everyone hated when it came out, and now it's having a bit of a resurgence. Because I mean, the whole controversy about the game was that you could not lose. Every time you would die, you have like a companion, like a magical companion. They would just revive you. Every time you would fall to your death or about to get killed by an enemy, she would just help you out. But now that kind of game, like in this modern game space, these kind of games are way more commonplace. The feel-good kind of games, the relaxed kind of games.
Yeah.
So I think in today's game space, people like it much better. But anyhow, The Lost Crown, right? Holy shit! When I saw it, I was so happy. The prince looks more like like an African American rapper than someone from the Middle East. But I honestly didn't have any trouble with it. I think that the game really looks fun. It's back to its 2D roots. It has the whole 2.5D aesthetic. We got the platforming. The combat looks all right. Like, I cannot say anything specific because I've only seen it, haven't played it. They didn't give any specifics, but honestly, I'm all for it. I'm super happy, right? It's a pretty good idea. It's a pretty good blend of the old and the new. Of the the kid in me wants to play some more Prince of Persia and something new. And then I've seen how people reacted to it, and they reacted pretty negatively to it. And I'm like, honestly, when I saw it, I was like, this is why we can't have nice things. I think we as a society are just doomed. Like, come on, how can you spit on a new Prince of Persia game because the guy looks like, I don't know, Tupac? Like, who gives a shit?
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit because I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't mind despite what I said earlier, I don't mind the art style here, but I think what most people are disappointed in is because, again, PS5, Series X. I personally would have liked a third-person, more realistic version of Prince of Persia with a little bit of gore, good parkour elements. Like, you don't have to make it Assassin's Creed. I don't really want that. But, like, make it more combat focused, obviously. But the parkour, I would have liked a third-person story. Now, is this guy that's the main character, because you mentioned him, is he the Prince of Persia? Because I thought in the trailer it said he was going to rescue the Prince of Persia.
Oh, that could be it. Yeah, I
could be wrong. I could be wrong. I thought that's what I heard. I didn't know he was actually the Prince of Persia. He might be. I don't know. But
I mean, usually the main character is the prince. That's the tradition.
That's right.
That's how it's always been. So
that's right. I
mean, you know what? I think that what they're doing here, they're kind of testing the ground. They're seeing if the Prince of Persia franchise is profitable. So they're making like a smaller project, and maybe if it does well, we'll get a more AAA experience with more of a realistic look. But it's also true what you said about it being too close to Assassin's Creed. I think they're afraid of that. They don't want the two franchises to be, too similar. Because, as you probably know, Assassin's Creed was born as a Prince of Persia concept.
Yeah.
And kind of became its own thing. It had a similar thing to what you said, where the main protagonist also kind of protects the prince and saves him from peril. So I think that could also be a thing. They're afraid of the two franchises being too similar. They want Assassin's Creed to be the gritty one, and Prince of Persia to be the more cartoony one, which, if I might add, is what the original author probably wanted. There's like when Warrior Within introduced like the very edgy and violent side of the prince, some fans were happy. The original creator of the prince was very unhappy. He did not stand. He said that everything his Prince of Persia standard for was not represented in that game. So there could also be that,
Okay. Yeah, I don't really. I only played one. Is that the which one did you say you named the one in 2008? Which one was that?
2008 is a reboot with Nolan North, which is
okay.
You got
I remember that one, but the Sands of Time was that one of them?
Okay, so the Sands of Time is like the one from 2003 or 4, something like that. The Forgotten Sands is from
the Forgotten Sands is probably the one I played.
Yeah.
I got you. Because I remember like when there was a movie that came out with Jake Gyllenhaal as the Prince of Persia.
That's right.
And the movie is okay, but I was into it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and they're based off some games. Cool, let me check it out. And I think that was the one I checked out, and I liked it. It was okay.
And that's pretty much what I wanted. The Forgotten Sands was kind of exclusively made to be a movie tie-in game.
Yeah.
So I mean, they of course they put some effort into it. They called some of the old developers from the Sands of Time, but it was clearly stitched together in a very short time. You could tell.
Yeah. But all in all, I mean, it looks decent. I mean, it comes out January 18th, so that's pretty. That'll be a good one to start the new year if you're into that. I might check it out, but I think the side scrolling. I think a lot of people said it looks like a mobile game. I'm not going to say it looks like to that extent, but
come on, dude.
I mean, we'll see.
Like if we're gonna talk about graphical power, then maybe. But honestly, mobile games are kind of a genre in its own, right? The whole, multiplayer thing throws a bunch of ads in your face. I mean, that's the mobile game aspect I don't like. If by mobile game they mean that it's, looks a bit indie, I don't give a shit. Sure,
Yeah. I think indie's probably a better word for it. But I mean, look, there's a lot of great indie games. Like that's not really a negative. Like I don't play a lot of indie games, but there's some good ones out there that I really like. Unless you have something else you want to add to Prince of Persia, we'll keep this thing rolling.
No, we can. Yeah, let's keep it going.
Next one, I'm excited for this one. I know you're probably not. Well, maybe you are. Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1. Not really excited for that.
I'm not really into that now.
I'm looking forward to that.
I do find it funny though. I find it funny how it's a sequel. How Mortal Kombat 1 is a sequel to 11, and I got it. I get it. Why? I read the lore. I just find it funny.
Yeah, it looks good. I like all the Mortal Kombat games. Mortal Kombat 11 was kind of a mixed bag for me, but I did enjoy it, and I've kind of taken a break mostly because of I want to play Final Fantasy 16 so bad. So I've just every game I have is a pile of dog shit. But I was playing Street Fighter 6 a lot, and I've put probably damn near 20 hours into it or something like that. It has like a create your own fighter, and you have an open world you can progress in. You can fight people on the street. You can move up the ranks. You can learn different styles. It's a lot of fun. Play online with people, which I get my ass kicked a lot, but it's still a lot of fun. I got my character. He looks like John Wick, but he has like a karate gi on with sunglasses, and
so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so like I hate it. Like I don't like making my characters look super wacky, like a little bit maybe.
So you've seen what people have done, like all
dude,
fucking
yeah. But yeah, so like I'm really into fighting games right now, like as a whole. So Mortal Kombat 1 is a day one purchase. So for me, I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna put a whole new gameplay tactic where like. They have these things called cameos where you'll have like another fighter helping you. It's AI controlled, but
like an assist.
Yeah, like if I want to play as Sonya Blade and I'm fighting Liu Kang, I can have like Scorpion as my cameo, and he can come in and help me out to help me do finishers and stuff. So it's
Cameo with a K, of course.
Yeah, you gotta have it with a K. Let's see. The next thing on the list is Fortnite Wilds reveals Transformers crossover.
Fucking go.
Yeah,
I mean, it's whatever.
You and Lyra can talk all about that if you want to. I'm not. I'm good.
I mean, dude, you don't get it. In this season, they added a fucking, I don't know, they call that like a Cybertron cannon. And you can shoot, it shoots out the sonic boom. You can like kill people from like a kilometer away from you. It's
okay.
And you can ride dinosaurs. Come on. How can you not be into that?
Okay. All right, whatever. That's fine. Unless you, I mean, go ahead. Listen, if you got a monologue for Fortnite, go ahead. You can go ahead and take it. I'm good.
I have not. I have some dignity. No, I'll keep it at that.
I got some dignity. This one you're probably looking forward to. Sonic Superstars. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I'm looking at this. Sonic Superstars is a new 2D. Yeah,
no, I'm
Sonic
not into Sonic.
Oh,
no,
you're not?
Like all the weirdo fandoms except Sonic. That's
wow.
I missed out.
I thought you told me you were looking forward to a Sonic game. I think the newest one that came out, wasn't it? Like
the first years. I mean, I kind of meme. Yeah, I memed about it a bit. Like because I kind of want to get into it. It's such a weird fucking franchise, right? Where like every new entry for the past 20 years keeps getting fucking shat on, but somehow it still keeps selling. So it's kind of a weird phenomenon, and I kind of wanted to be part of that phenomenon, but I can never get into it. So that's my story with Sonic.
All right, well, we can kind of skip that one. I probably won't play. It's 2D anyway. I'm not against 2D games, but I'm probably not interested. The next one is big. Alan Wake 2. So they showed more gameplay. I love the atmosphere. The atmosphere. It's just like, this, but you've beaten Resident Evil 4 quite a few times at this point. That first opening scene, right? When you get that first wooded area before you get to the first cabin where the first Ganado's in there, that scene is beautiful. Like how wet the forest looks. It's dark. You get the moon going through the trees. It creates that game's not really a horror game, so to speak, but it really has a really good, like, terrifying atmosphere. This has that. It bleeds that same sort of atmosphere that I love. So I'm really excited for that. How do you feel about two protagonists, right? It's not just Alan Wake. You play as this FBI character as well. What do you think about that?
Yes. Yeah, the American cop with the Polish name, of course. I keep forgetting what her name is.
Saga. Yeah, it's Saga.
Saga.
Yeah,
yes.
Saga Anderson.
Yeah, Saga.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of like it because, like, if you know the story of Alan Wake, spoiler alert, there's a whole fact that Alan Wake is kind of trapped in the nightmare world. So I kind of like the idea that we also have like an outside perspective, So Alan Wake is kind of trying to escape this dark dimension, while we have someone on the outside that's kind of seeing what's happening in the real world.
Yeah.
Maybe because of what Alan Wake is doing inside. So I welcome it. You mentioned the good atmosphere. I agree. I really liked it. How you enter into this shop, this little cabin, and it's dark, it's gloomy. Hear every little creak of the wood. Everything, you're fully focused. You're fully in there. I still don't like the anime design. Like, it's not like I don't like it. It's not that scary, right?
Yeah.
Like, Resident, as you said, Resident 4 is not a horror game, but the enemy designs in itself are pretty scary, right?
Yeah,
they're horrid monsters. In Alan Wake, there's still shadow people, which it's not. It's just not scary. It's not, and I don't like it mad. Like, not even from an artistic standpoint, I really don't like it.
I don't know.
It really
got
me out of it.
I'm looking at this picture right here. It's like this big guy with antlers on his head. He looks pretty interesting.
Wait, let me see that.
Yeah, I'm looking on IGN's website for the Summer Game Fest 2023, and I'm just kind of looking through images as we're kind of talking about it, and this one image, there's like this pretty big guy with antlers on his head. I mean, he looks pretty menacing. I'm kind of interested to see, is Light going to play is going to play a big feature in it. Are you still going to have to use the flashlight? Because all right, so this has come from somebody who has not beaten Alan Wake Alan Wake first one. I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish it. I will play it before this comes out. I can guarantee you that. But I've only played bits and pieces of it. But I'm interested to see if light's gonna play a big part like it did in the first game, where you have to weaken the enemies with the light and then finish them off with the firearm. I wonder if they're going to keep that in there, or are they going to go more Resident Evil style, and it's not really going to. I imagine Alan Wake's part, he'll definitely have to do that. I would imagine. But
I mean, honestly, I really hope that it's like that overall, because I don't want a Resident Evil game. I want an Alan Wake game. You know, Alan Wake has been this one weird, unique game, and I hate that now that it's getting revived, it's kind of getting homogenized into whatever is popular at the time. Yeah, I kind of like there to be like, it doesn't have to be the same as the original, but make it into something. Because that original game had a lot of fun concepts. Like, of course, you weaken the enemies with the flashlights, but you can use other stuff. You can use flashbangs. Flashbangs that are as powerful as fucking nukes in that game, because there's the huge outbursts of light, so you just kill everyone in an area, all the shadow people, of course.
Yeah,
there are parts where you can use what do you call them, like street lights.
Right.
It's just, there's these cool moments when you feel safe because you're approaching a street light, right? And in there, they kind of attack you. Only as soon as you get close, the street light kind of fails on you and it's dark again. And then you're stressed out all over again. I kind of like that. So not just because it's dark, but because that was when you're one line of defense. It's kind of a fun dynamic, and I would hate for them to ditch it.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, wow, like I'm looking at all the pictures here for Alan Wake 2, and it's only showing the FBI agent. It's not even showing. It's not even showing Alan Wake.
Yeah, there's like one shot of him at his writing desk.
Why is that? Why is that? Alan Wake is the titular character here.
Well, what I'm hoping is that they kind of want to, they want to tease us.
I hope so, man.
By the balls, and.
Okay, that's weird, but yeah, I mean, I hope that you're right about that, because if it's gonna be more centered around the FBI agent, I don't care. I don't personally do not care, but then don't call it Alan Wake. You know what I mean? Like Alan Wake, I kind of wanted to focus on Alan Wake. I kind of want to see his, especially for somebody who hasn't finished his story in the first one. If this is a continuation of that, I hope he's going to be more of a focus than what they're right now.
I mean,
doing,
honestly, I think that's definitely going to happen, because it's been a long time coming. Because people have wanted to see how he's doing, and they keep saying that. They keep making reference to that. There was like the interview with Sam Lake, the creator, and he goes, a lot of people have been wondering what's been happening with the titular character for so long. Well, let's just say he's not doing well, but he's going. So they're making a lot of reference to that. So I would think we would see enough of him.
I really hope that he'll be a pretty big focus, But anyway.
By the way, Sam Lake, I love you. I was mocking you out of admiration and respect.
I just like the way he looks, man. He looks like I've been a big John Wick fan here as of late, and he kind of looks like him, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, man. Because dude, we gotta get a John Wick game. We have to. Don't give me a movie game. I don't want that. But give me a John Wick game when he's younger and he's doing contracts, dude.
Honestly, yeah, John Wick is perfect for video games.
Perfect.
As a concept, yeah. But honestly, yeah, I'm embarrassed to admit that when the Alan Wake 2 trailer came on, at first I wasn't too sure what it was. When I saw Alan Wake, I first thought Keanu Reeves, and then I thought Alan Wake. My first thought in my mind was Keanu Reeves. So
it looks a lot like him.
The resemblance is uncanny, yeah.
Yeah. You got anything else on that? Anything else you're looking forward to on Alan Wake 2?
Yeah, I'm looking forward for them to release the physical edition.
We'll keep wishing, bitch.
There's another game that's doing that. There's another game that's doing that. I can't remember which one. Yeah, and I feel so embarrassed.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do remember there is something else not getting a physical release, at least right away.
And now it's getting scary, Because now it's like it's not this one weird studio doing this thing, you know, being quirky. Now it's starting to be a trend. It's starting to be a pattern. So I think we're seeing the beginning of the death of the physical games. I mean, they'll never die. They'll become vintage, which is maybe worse. You know, so we'll be seeing normal ass physical games being sold at the price of, you know, fucking collector's editions, they say, right?
Yeah, we're getting.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Like it's inevitability.
Yeah, we're slowly being outnumbered by these, and that's the thing. You know, again, we talked about it. We talked about it before, so I don't want to harp on it too much because we're not even on Xbox Showcase. We're not even on PlayStation Showcase or Ubisoft or Capcom. So we're not gonna get through all of them. So that's fine. But we talked about this last time. Like I've been buying a lot of games digitally here as of late. 'Cause it's just been more convenient for me. But see, that's what everybody does. And if you keep having that mind state, eventually, it's going to be to the point where you can't even get a physical. And it's sad, man. It really is. It's. I mean, the time us old timers are done. Like we're just done. We're just going to have to play. We're just going to play digital.
It already happened with movies, honestly. I think you and I are the only nerds who fucking buy Blu-rays. And even that, I only buy it for like the Spider-Man movies, you know, like only for like these very niche releases. It soon is gonna be like that with games too. Only that with games, manufacturing a game disc is way more expensive than manufacturing a movie disc. So when that's gonna die off, it's gonna die off hard, you know.
Yeah, I know that is true. Like, yeah, but probably I don't know anybody who still, besides Brandon. I will say Brandon. We've had him on the show a few times. He still buys physical releases, but I don't know many other people that do. I buy all my stuff physical for movies. I actually just bought some. I bought John Wick 4. I bought a Nicolas Cage movie that I watched that I really like with Pedro Pascal. And what is the other one?
The one from the meme, of course.
Yeah, that movie's great, by the way. You got to watch that.
What's it called?
Anyway,
What's it called?
The Unbearable Truth About Nothing.
Oh, right. That's a cool title.
It's some kind of it's some kind of name like that. But anyway, all right. So moving on. Like a Dragon, Gaiden is coming. Do you know anything about that? Are you excited for it?
Okay, so here's my story with Like a Dragon or Yakuza. There's a point where they were like on a huge sale because like this game store was like shutting down. It was during the COVID period, so I took advantage of their misery and bought all of their Yakuza games while they were on sale. So I have like a shit ton of Yakuza games, like from 1 through fucking 7 on my shelf, right? I think one of them is even like the special Steelbook edition. No, it looks like it has the Chinese dragon on it. It's like vintage red. It's cool as hell. I have not played a minute of this game because I really want to. And the games keep coming out. Dude. Earlier this year, we got the Japan one. You know, the Like a Dragon game, whatever that's called.
That game looks good, by the way. That looks like a damn good game.
But I mean, honestly, I haven't even played the first and now they're announcing a new one, and like Yakuza 8 has to come out, unless this is Yakuza 8. I don't think it is. This is like another game. So I'm kind of overwhelmed. And these games are not short games. No, they're like pretty long. So their fucking RPG levels are long.
Yeah, dude, very long cutscenes. Very, very long cutscenes. You'll go 15 minutes and not touch the goddamn controller, dude. It's nuts.
Oh, damn.
It's crazy.
MGS4 flashbacks.
Yeah. So I'm like you. Like I see the I see the potential. I hear it's such a great series. I think I played a little bit of Yakuza 4, and then I played. There's a series that branches off of Yakuza called Judgment. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, the detective one. I've heard.
I played the first couple hours of that one, and that was really fun, man. A good detective beat 'em up game, and but again, it's just you don't have enough time to play all these games, man, unless you just sit at home and don't work. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to.
I mean, ideally, like this summer, I imagine like summer is when I'm gonna do like my huge backlog, but then it's a huge fucking lie, right? Because like in summer, you kind of want to do other stuff, right? You don't want to just play games, which is what you do during the whole year.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
There's no escape, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of stuff going on in the summertime anyway, so it's like it makes it even harder to pick up on your backlog, and that's why like now, I don't have much of a. I'm not playing anything right now. By the way, it's storming where I'm at, so if you hear some thunder, that's what's going on. But like that's why right now, like I haven't played anything because I don't even want to start any of my backlog until it's dead. Like I got nothing to look forward to for like several months. But dude, think about it. Like the next several months, we have shit to look forward to. Final Fantasy 16 is going to put me through probably July, I would think. I'll probably have it done in August, maybe mid-August, something like. Just depends on how much I play it. You know, I might get to the point where I play like for 30 hours and get bored, but I don't think so. Anyway, all right. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna latch on to what you said and say, at least after FF16, we have some time before the next big releases, which are like in October. That's when Alan Wake, Experiment 2, all that shit comes out.
October is ridiculous, bro. It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, actually, I think I have like a file where I have all the games that I'm interested in, divided by month. Yeah, we got Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Alone in the Dark.
Oh, that looks great.
Very awesome.
But here's a catcher with mine, right? I would like to do an episode on that, like near like Halloween. The only thing is, my wife saw the gameplay sometime in October, something like that.
No. I mean,
what are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about like Spider-Man 2 is coming out on the 20th, and before that, Alan Wake.
Oh, are you talking about like how?
Like when are you going to play it?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
see,
that's
the thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The only thing that I can come up with, my wife saw gameplay for it, and she likes the actors in it, the two main actors, David Harbour, and I don't remember what the other. We're big Stranger Things,
but another good actors, yeah.
Yeah. So she wants to see that game because it has David Harbour in it and stuff. So I'm like, okay, so that's going to be a game I probably play with her, and like only when she's around. I probably will not play that game on my own time. But that does look really, really good. I agree. I played the demo for that. I played the demo for that. It's very, very, very short. You don't play as either one of the main characters. You play
as a little girl, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, what I love about the game is that the original Alone in the Dark was like a precursor to Resident Evil, and now a remake of Alone in the Dark is borrowing Resident Evil elements.
Yeah,
I think that's just a beautiful, just things going full circle.
The circle of life. Yeah, that's really great. Yeah. Anyway, let's go. Let's keep on moving because I want to try to get some of these. Star Trek Infinite.
I don't care.
Yep, not in that either. I like the director. So this is like a really famous horror director for this next game, but I don't really know much about it. It's called John Carpenter's Toxic Commando.
Oh.
I love John Carpenter, but I don't really know much about that, so I can't really give much.
Okay. So I watched an AVGN episode 10 years ago that was about that kind of stuff, that franchise. From what I understand, there was a John Carpenter movie called something like The Toxic Crusader, something like that. Don't quote me on it. And and it was just like peak trash cinema, right? Like it had sex, it had violence, it had all of it, right? And somehow from that, they made a children's cartoon called something else, Toxic something, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just a really weird franchise that I never really got much into. And so I'm not really looking forward to this next game either.
Yeah, it says right here, it says a first-person shooter that's an ode to 80s action and horror. That's pretty much all it says. And you take on hordes of undead enemies. So is it like a Left 4 Dead? Because if it's like Left 4 Dead, I'm not into that at all.
I mean, it's probably gonna be like a very simple kind of game, however you look at it.
Yeah, like the thing is when a game has like multiple, like I'm not talking about like Days Gone, right? I love Days Gone, but games where it's like hordes of zombies and they just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. Like I don't like games like that. I immediately get bored after a while.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not much into shooters. Like when it comes to shooters, I'm just very picky. And this game, like I hate to be so mean, but it's not worth my time. Yeah. Like there are just too many releases. This is just not.
I feel you. It's not. It's probably not.
It doesn't make
the
cut. Yeah.
Yeah. How about one called Sandland?
Remind me what that is. I remember being very surprised by that one.
It just says it's based on a niche manga from Toriyama.
Oh, right. Nah, never mind. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, it says the gameplay showed tank and melee combat across the game's wide desert.
All right.
I
mean, it's cool seeing Toriyama, Dragon Ball fame. Still working on new games, but
yeah. No, I don't know that. Another one is Pal World is like Pokemon. It says Pal World. That's what it is. Pal World is like
Pokemon with guns.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a laugh. They got a laugh out of me and my roommate when we watched it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't you know when I'm gonna play that game? When it becomes free on the PSN catalog or stuff like that. The PS Plus catalog. That's when I play those kind of games.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria. It's like a strategy game, survival crafting adventure, Fourth Age of Middle Earth. What do you think?
I might play, like, if it's a multiplayer game, I might like to play it with a few buddies, right? I got a friend that's like crazy about Lord of the Rings, and he's really into games like what is called Deep Rock Galactic, and this looks like that, but with a Middle Earth coat of paint on it.
Yeah.
So it might be a fun game to play here and once in a while. You drop in a mission with a few buddies, clear that, and then you call it a day.
Right. So this next one coming up, I don't really recall this one. It says Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. What is that?
Game, dude.
Fuck that. I'm good.
It's pretty much like a remake of the original, but with shitty mobile graphics, and I'm guessing a tons of microtransactions.
Probably. That's a good guess.
Yes.
How about Banishers: Ghost of New Eden, new action RPG from the creators of Vampire. It's from Don't Nod too. The people who make Life is Strange.
That one. Yeah. What the hell? I am so confused by the existence of this game. How do you go from Life is Strange to this? Honestly, I would not care about it if it weren't by Don't Nod. Because from Don't Nod, it piqued my curiosity.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Don't Nod. They correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. They only did Life is Strange 2, right? They didn't. Did they?
What do you mean by that?
That they only developed Life is Strange 2, right? Or did they?
Out of all the Life is Strange games?
Yeah.
They definitely developed the first one.
Okay. All right.
And they definitely developed games before that. There was like I don't know if you remember. It's called Remember Me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's by them.
Oh, okay.
That was theirs. So yeah, Life is Strange was their first big hit.
Okay, I got you. I couldn't remember who made the first one. I thought Don't Nod came in the second one, but
it's still fine. Don't Nod, yeah.
How about Baldur's Gate 3? What do you think about that?
I'm unfortunately not into that. What about you?
Not really. I mean, the only thing cool about this, it says the guy who played Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter, he plays Jason Isaacs, who's like the main character in the game.
I mean, all right.
I mean, that's fine.
I'm not gonna make me play it, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. The Twisted Metal TV show comes out July 27th.
Right. I don't know.
No.
I'm probably gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch that out of curiosity, but I've never been to the Twisted Metal franchise.
Well, me neither. But I mean, that's always something that would be kind of fun. Like, even if it's something we just don't really care about, that's something we can come on here and talk shit about if you want. We can watch it.
I mean, that's a good thing about. This is a good thing about media that's not video games. Like movies or TV shows. They don't require as much of a commitment. You can just watch it in an evening, and then come talk shit about it here. So I completely agree. We can totally do that.
We're gonna skip this trash new trailer for Season 4 of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, skip that garbage. That freaking garbage. I don't know if you heard. I know we're kind of taking a sidebar here, and I know we were trying to get through at least the Summer Game Fest part. But did you hear about? So this is over in the States, so you might not have heard about it. There's a streamer called Nick Merckx. Have you ever heard of him?
I don't know about that.
He's a streamer he streams mostly Call of Duty Warzone. That's like his big thing. And him and Call of Duty.
Warzone is the Battle Royale one, right?
Yeah. Okay. So Call of Duty have I don't know who reached out to who, but pretty much they made a deal amongst each other to have a skin of the streamer in the game with his own class of weapons and all that other stuff. He made a deal with him so he could have his, because he's such a big streamer in that Call of
I
Duty
guess that's
world.
cool. Yeah, that's like Ninja did that with Fortnite. So
It is cool, but here's the next part that's not cool, right? And I'm not, again, this has never been a very political place, so I'm gonna kind of keep it away from that. But he made a tweet. So Nick Merckx, he made a tweet, and it was, I think he has shared a post from someone. I don't know who it was, but the post said something about we are continuing to educate young children about their sexuality and their gender or something like that. Like continuing to push that. And he tweeted and said, because he's a new father, by the way, he just had a kid. And he had tweeted and said, let's leave the kids out of this, please, is what he said. And that's all he said. That's all he said. Let's leave the kids out of this.
And it's kind of ambiguous. So what is it? What did he mean by that? Did he agree with the original? I think what
he's saying is he's kind of disagreeing in a sense that not disagreeing with the sex change and the sexuality, but more of let's not teach kids about that in school and let that be the parents' responsibility, if that makes sense.
That's a statement, right?
Yeah. And he's released a statement about it and everything, that's clearly what he meant. Most people saw what he meant. Like when I don't follow him, but when I saw the tweet, I was like, okay, so he's saying to leave children out of it, as in you need to let the parents. And I do agree with that to a certain degree. Like,
let kids be kids is what you mean, right?
Yeah. So anyway, he made that very cryptic tweet. Call of Duty removed his skin from the game, took his loadout and everything out of it, and broke ties with him immediately. When that guy had literally, championed your game for several months. This has been out, been a big champion for the Call of Duty franchise, probably sold you even more copies, and you just cut ties with the guy because he made one comment that was, again, I understand some things need to be left unsaid, but at the same time, I think everybody can voice their opinion as well, and I don't think that's really fair. It's not like he really said anything that was really insensitive. I don't think it was insensitive. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to stay away from it.
No, I agree. No, I agree what you mean. Well, the thing is that I think they're just playing it very safe, maybe to an extreme degree. But I literally know nothing about how it works, how all these relations play out. So I really cannot give my 2 cents on it. But it is very ridiculous that you gotta be so much on your toes about that kind of stuff. But
at this point, with as cryptic as he was, what can you say? What can you say?
Honestly, I would put a fault to that. I would put a fault if he was too cryptic. That could mean literally anything. So maybe he was. Well, I don't know. Again, I have no clue. I'm a completely ignorant idiot. But maybe if he made a more of a clear statement saying where he stands in this, maybe could have gone differently. I don't know.
Yeah.
What does it mean, leave the kids, whatever?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
That can be taken either way.
Yeah, I get it, but I get that. No, but jumping completely on the bandwagon, immediately calling this guy transphobic and all that stuff. I don't think that's fair. That's not, and he said, nobody really has to explain themselves. I don't think that's fair. If I feel a certain way, if I want to explain why I'm a certain way, then that's completely fine. But at the same time, I get it. It was very cryptic. Maybe he could have added a few more there, but like I said, I'm summarizing as well. If you saw the post, essentially it was talking about teaching kids about their
pushing an agenda.
Yeah. And so he was just saying, let's just leave. How about we leave the kids out of it? That's all he was saying. Because I think, and his whole thing was, I'm a parent, and I would rather, if I want to teach them about that, then that's my God-given right. And I agree.
Well, the thing is, here's where I'm a bit conflicted about that, is that can mean, so on one end, there are 2 extremes, right? There's the extreme that goes okay, we push so much this onto kids, right? We keep talking about them, about that kind of stuff, but that confuses them even more than they naturally are. Kids are naturally confused, right? They don't know their place in the world, they're not even self-conscious.
Yeah.
And once they start being self-conscious, like it's a really pretty big deal. And maybe if you overload them with all this information, you might steer them in a way that it's not who they really want to be, right? Because kids are easily influenceable, right? Because from that, when it comes to that, I understand, let's keep the kids out of this, right? Maybe not preach that kind of stuff too early. But on the other hand, leave the kids out of it also seems like a very conservative and traditionalist way to think. Like, be like very censored. And it comes to the idea that if children are not exposed to, or people in general, if they're not exposed to these ideals, then they are magically never going to be part of that world, right? It's the idea that everything queer is an infection, right? It stems from talking about it. You talk about it, people learn about it, and only then they become queer. I think I think both sides are very negative, and the way he worded it could have meant both, and both are very bad. So see, that's my problem with it. So that's why I don't completely hate.
Well, like I said, I think that again, we don't gotta go full on into it, but my thing is, it was a cryptic, but I think at the same time, I think what you said, how both ends are very bad. I don't think both ends are very bad. I think they both can be at a fault for sure, like depending on how far they can go. I agree. But I think
meant extremes. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
think about if it's like and again, this is it, and then we can try to graze over some stuff. But like think about it, like you have a child, right, and you send them to school, and they're teaching. And again, if you put them in the public school system, they're susceptible to anything. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be taught whatever the public wants them to know. It's as simple as that. If you want them to learn a certain way or whatever, that's what private school's for. So, but if you have kids and you send them to school and they're kind of force feeding is a strong word, but they're really trying to like send home to your kid about certain ways of life, right? Certain ways of doing things, and that you maybe that's something I would rather have the conversation for, as opposed to letting essentially strangers have these conversations. Would that make you feel kind of, again, I'm not trying to get in this conversation, but I think I'm trying to look at it from the way Nick is looking at it, right? Like Nick is like, hey, listen, I'm a new dad, right? I think I would, and not obviously they're going to go through life and they're going to be around people of the opposite sex and people who like the same sex, and they're going to be around that. But as a father, he wanted to have those conversations as opposed to having to learn that in school system. I mean, would you, is that understanding to you? Is that something that you could probably understand, or you feel differently about it? That's okay too.
Well, I mean, I conceptually understand it, but I don't necessarily agree with it. Because the thing is, in an ideal world, right? In an ideal world, there is no elephant in the room, right? The whole queer talk is just completely like accepted, and not accepted as as a whole pride thing. Like it's completely part of everyday life. It's like, I don't know, it's like fucking, I don't want to downplay it. As normal as we have the notion of, being fucking, I don't know, a man or a woman, right? As completely normal of a notion. That is, the ideal is to have that as a normal notion, right? So in that ideal world, there is nothing to teach. It's just part of the world, right? It's just part of our world. So on one hand, I understand the whole thing is that, maybe you want to be the one to introduce your kids to that kind of ideas, because we can make that argument about anything, right? About religion, maybe. See, I'll make it here. I'll put a personal experience in it. I'll put myself on the limelight. So what happened? I went for the first 2 years of my of elementary. I went to a private Catholic school, even though my parents are not religious. They're I'd say agnostic, right? Although they never really they didn't really confirm that in that way. They didn't really need a label, and so they never baptized me. But that's not because they were against it. They're just saying, well, when he's old enough, he'll decide whether to get baptized or not. That was their idea. And I remember when I was in that Catholic school, of course, we were taught by nuns. Nuns were our teachers. And there's a talk among all the other normal subjects. We also had religion, right? And it was really, you can see how awkward. I remember still now how, well, now I realize what was happening, but back then I just registered it as weird. How the nuns were talking, they were really walking on eggshells when talking about baptism because they knew that I wasn't baptized, right? But at the same time, they really wanted to preach how great baptism is, how great it is to be cleansed of the original sin and all that. They kind of want to say, like if you're baptized, it kind of makes you a bit better than everyone else, right? But they can't really say that, of course, right? So, and it kind of made me feel bad because as much as I walk on eggshells, I kind of could read the room.
Yeah.
So, for a long time, you could say that in that way, they influenced me. They made me, I felt bad for not being baptized. I felt bad for not being Christian. Right? So you could see it that way, right? I'm not trying to attack religion or Christianity. I'm just saying that's how I see it. That's how my personal experience is going to shape my view on it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, if I hadn't went to later on, I went to a public school, right? I think that kind of made me see how normal it is to be either atheist or agnostic or whatever you want to be, right? And that kind of made me feel a little bit better. I'm like, okay, so there is that, that there is that life path, there is that way of living. There are also others, and not any of them is better for you. What's better for you is what you actually want, what you actually feel like.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we. So in a way, I kind of like the. I don't know how it is in schools today, over there, over here. I don't know how they're pushing the agenda or whatever.
That's right.
But my experience for public schools was pretty good when it comes to that. It made me you get a little bit of everything, get a taste in everything. And, and that it helped me find my place in the world when it comes to that.
No,
so we ranted enough about that.
That's a good, and I get what you're saying. No, look, by the way, if obviously personal experiences they're obviously up to you as far as what you want to share. Obviously, I love hearing about personal things, and I think the people that come and watch the cast or listen to it on Apple Podcasts, by the way, download. You can download any episode anytime. You can listen to them on the way to work. Anyway, I think the people watching, and even myself, when I go back and watch these later, I like hearing about this experience. And to finish up this conversation, the public part of it, like what you were just talking about, how when you went to public school, you got a little bit of everything, and it was a good change of pace, and it did make you more open to several things, and I do like that. But I think what he's referring to, and again, I'm not defending or I'm against him. I'm not saying I agree 100%. I think what he's saying is he's talking about children. He's talking about small children, because I think the posts involve like preschoolers, kindergartners, first grade. I mean, this is like small children. I'm talking about these kids aren't any more than maybe like 7, 8 years old. They're pretty young, and I think that's what he was saying. He just felt like with that specific subject that maybe they should leave the kids out of it. Not religions or anything like that. Like you can believe whatever you want to believe and things like that. But obviously the whole thing with like gender fluidity and all that stuff, it's a very sensitive subject anyway to a lot of people. So I think he was just saying, just as far as small children, I'm not talking about like 14, 15. Okay, they're old enough at that point where they can, they either just gonna have to deal with it or whatever. But I'm talking about small children, because like you even said it best, right? Like I remember how I was when I was a kid. I was so gullible. I was a very, very gullible child, and if I was told something, I believed it a lot of the time, man. I mean, for a while, like when I was growing up, right? Like my dad, like, I didn't really. My dad was away for a little while when I was younger, but like you kind of told like for the examples, like take girls for a second, right? Like, okay, a girl has to be 110 pounds and blonde hair and tan skin, or else she's not attractive. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much the way I was kind of, I wouldn't say raised, but that was kind of the thing. Like, okay, a girl has to be, tan, skinny, and
the indoctrination, right? Yeah,
right. And then as I got older, I was able to, because I'm older and I know what I like, I was able to kind of figure out, okay, what all do I like when I'm looking at who I'm attracted to, like what do I like, you know what I mean? And obviously my wife is the embodiment of all that. But I think too, like, what I'm saying is, like, as a kid, you're very impressionable. That's pretty much the whole point of it. Like, and then they get older, they can, like, obviously if they're teaching these things and the kids are a lot older, it's one of those things. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, they got to live with it somehow. And honestly, to enter a functioning society, you kind of have to just, you're going to be around it anyway. So
yeah, you got to take the whole package. Yeah, no, I mean, at some point you're going to be exposed to everything. I think that the idea is that how you get exposed to it.
Yeah. I agree.
That's what I said. I kind of like the whole open-mindedness of it.
Yeah.
It's like just it exists, right? Just know that it exists, right? And that's why I didn't like about the leave the kids out of this, because it feels like this big secret, this big, like, huge thing.
Yeah.
It's really not. I get it. Like, it's not something you really want to push to a child. I mean, a child has no notion of themselves, let alone what their gender is, right?
That's right.
But at the same time, I didn't want to treat it like a big scary thing, right?
That's right.
Oh, let's have the gender talk.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. All right, back to here, because I know
back to games.
We're coming up on 2 hours now, and I don't know how much time you got, so we'll try to skim through the rest of Summer Game Fest, and we'll kind of. I got like 4 other tabs here. If I see something that sticks out, we can bring it up, but it's whatever. The next one is Path of Exile 2.
Yeah, no.
Okay. It's an RPG. That's all I know. Isometric.
Yeah, I know what it is. I don't care.
That's kind of like Diablo, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It kind of looks pretty cool. But honestly, if I'm going to play a game like that, I'm going to play Diablo, because I haven't played it. So,
let's see. We talked about Street Fighter 6. That's getting another, like, it's getting a crossover event, so that's cool. If you're into that. Lies of P, talked about that. It's got potential. It's got potential.
I agree.
They revealed the Witcher season 3 trailer. No one cares about that.
They did. I even forgot about that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think everybody would be interested, but they're getting rid of Henry. Well, they're not getting rid. Henry Cavill's quitting the role as Geralt, so he's not coming back after season 3.
From what I heard, they got rid of him.
I just think.
Okay, let's not get into that. All right.
I just think he's leaving, man, because I think they don't. I don't think he likes what they're doing with the story, because he's like he's a Witcher fanatic. I mean, this dude knows.
Yeah, he's a fucking nerd. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a fucking nerd. He's a fucking nerd.
He is.
A game that looks really, really good, and I don't know if you're really interested in it or not, but it's called Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. That's what it looks like. It's pretty much called Space Marine 2.
That's a hell of a title. Yeah, it's like a strategy game, right?
No, it's a third-person shooter.
Run it by me again. Warhammer
40K Space Marine 2.
Right, of course, yes. I mean, I'm not too educated on it. I'll be honest with you.
I'm not either, but it looks fun. Like, if you ever played Gears of War, did you ever play that growing up at all? I know you're a PlayStation guy.
Not at all. I'm familiar with it, but I've never been too much into it. Yeah,
it kind of reminds me
like that. It's like over the shoulder shooter with like cover mechanics. That kind of stuff.
Mechanics. It looks gory. Looks pretty gory. So it looks fun. Yeah. I like blood and gore. Yeah, I like that. Okay, Nicolas Cage is coming to Dead by Daylight. Nobody cares about that.
Do you know why? They talked about why. Because his kids likes to play it.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that is a reason. I guess.
It's all right.
How about Yes, Your Grace?
Would that? Let me refresh my memory about that.
Yeah, it's an indie game.
Right, of course, the inbreeding one. Again, strategy games. I would love to be more into them. Once I have the time, if I have the time, right? If I'm sucked into Pocket Dimension with this game when it comes out, I'll definitely play it, like gladly.
Yeah. We talked about Witchfire. I know that it come out before, but this says Witchfire comes to early access in September. Early access, what is that? Right. Is that
early access means you get to, if you pre-purchase it, you get to play. Okay. You get to play part of it early. You get to play like a beta.
Yeah,
That's really means.
it says September 20th is when that comes out. I don't know anything about it. Just
It's
I
like
don't.
an
Yeah.
edgy third-person shooter. I mean, it's
Okay. Remnant 2. I don't.
yeah, I'm
This
sorry.
looks
Like,
like
you're
this looks like
so unprepared.
this looks like a third person. No, I ain't unprepared. I'm just not really super excited for all the games that have come out. To be honest with you, that are announced.
Yeah, I mean, I kind
I'll
of feel
play
bad
it.
because I feel like I'm only into like the big blockbusters, and I don't know anything about these indie titles. But
Well, that's okay though, Jan. Here's the thing: it's okay because a lot of this shit
Like,
does not interest me either because it looks like a bunch of kid games. It looks like games that I would sit down with a baby to play. That's what it looks like. Look at this. Like there's a game title that says Fae Farm. Fae Farm. FAE Farm.
Fae Farm. Yeah, that's the one you play with your girlfriend. Like not you specifically, but in general.
It
Like
looks like
when
little...
when my friend was watching it with me, saw he was like, "Oh man, what is it called again? Yeah, Fae Farm." And I gotta text my girlfriend about it, see if she wants to play it with me.
Yeah,
so we can.
Yeah, dude. Have fun. Have fun with your little kindergarten game, man. Fuck that. All right. So now, all right. So the Summer Game Fest took a while. We kind of went off a tangent. So I'm on the Xbox showcase now. I know this doesn't really help you out, does it?
I mean, well, what you mean?
I mean, you're probably not super excited for any of this because you don't have an Xbox, right?
Oh well, they did not only announce Xbox titles, so they did this. Okay. So they did announce a few games that I'm interested in, and during the show, like the Persona 3 remake or Metafazio, whatever that's called, and in the trailer they only showed Xbox, right? Xbox and like Windows PC. So like you got me sweating for a bit there, and only like a day or two later, did they release trailers that kind of confirmed that they're going to other platforms as well.
Yeah.
So they threw me for a doozy with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else they announced.
I know not all these are Xbox only, but like games like Fable, right? They're coming out with a new Fable.
Yeah. I would have loved Fable if I was an Xbox guy.
Yeah, no, it's a neat concept, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I have to look at gameplay for it. I have no idea. I played Fable. I think Fable 3. I played a little bit of that, but I'm not really super.
I think isn't Fable 3 the one that's coming out?
No, sorry. Fable 2 is probably the one I played then, not Fable 3. My bad. See, I told you how much I know. I know that franchise. How about Senua's Saga Hellblade 2? You looking forward to that?
So
I think that was on.
Yeah, I played the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Senua's Sacrifice or something like that. He's alright. It's okay. It was an okay game. It had this cool thing that it explored. Exactly. That was cool. Like you play with headphones and you have like
that's
voices
cool
in your head.
That's cool.
The idea of it was cool. Well,
the idea is
what
cool.
It's trying to do. What they're trying to do, they're trying to put you in the perspective of a person who has, some kind of mind disorder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is admittedly pretty obnoxious. It's actually pretty, detrimental to your day-to-day life. So from that, just for them for trying that, I kind of respect it.
Right.
And it's short enough. I mean, it's short enough to the point that it does not get too obnoxious. I feel like I finished it in 2 sessions. Like, come on, Dylan.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I again, that's another game that I picked up, and then that whispering got on my nerves, so I was done with it. How about all right? Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say about the sequel. Like, it's coming to Xbox. I'm probably not going to get to play it either, but even if I did, I would not buy day one. Like, it's one of those games that I don't even see how it could have a sequel, because it's I'm not saying that it wouldn't be good. I'm just saying that it seemed like a pretty contained story, a contained project. So I'm surprised to it getting a sequel, but yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. The only other thing that really stood out to me, I mean, we can go through it, but what? Okay, so you don't have an Xbox, and maybe that should change when it comes to Starfield, right? What do you think about Starfield? I'm actually pretty excited for it. I'm not even gonna lie. I wasn't really that excited for it, but now I am. I just am.
I think that kind of game is really cool. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. If I had an Xbox, I would definitely play it. I would definitely try it and play it. But I don't know if
You
it
gotta
warrants
save.
playing a console for it. You know,
save. You gotta save up, man. You gotta save up and get you an Xbox, man.
for Starfield, right?
For
I'll play your game. I'll say like if they cut the price for like 50%, I'll consider it.
Okay,
that's fair. Maybe play maybe you'll get the little Xbox, the white one.
Oh yeah, the Series S. You need to
The
trade in
Series
your You need to trade in your PS5 for one, man. That's what you need to do.
Right, of course. I mean, honestly, why should I play FF16 and Spider-Man 2 when I can play Starfield? Am I right?
Yeah, Starfield. Yeah, dude.
It's gonna be good. Like anything Bethesda ever made has always been good. So this one's gonna be good too,
right? Touche. I get you. The only thing I heard about that is it's gonna run 30 FPS. That's trash. It's confirmed.
For Bethesda, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. So. I mean, it's just like.
Yeah, you're right. Okay,
I'm trashing them.
Yeah,
I don't know, but okay. Them, you know what? I already said that if I had, a platform to play it on, I definitely would. I promise I would. Because it's ambitious. It looks like a very an ambitious game. Would love to see what they do with it, but it does not warrant like a purchase of a strong, of a good PC or a console for me. I'd rather you be the lab rats, see. In chess, the pawns go first. So I just see how you react.
It comes out in September. I think September 6th, I believe. And man, that's a big game, man. Like to play. And I mean, it's probably gonna have like 1,000 planets in it. That's bullshit. I wish that wasn't true because I'm not exploring 1,000 planets.
I never understood why players like that. Like ever since the beginning of time. Oh man, like when they're talking about the new GTAs, right? Oh man, this GTA's map is like 5 times bigger than the other one. Fantastic. Like I'm gonna drive around an empty street for 5 times more of the time. Like what's the appeal? I
don't so I'm kind of skipping around a little bit because the PlayStation Showcase, we already kind of talked about all the big ones. Unless there's something in particular that you were looking forward to. I mean, we already talked about Street Fighter 6, Final Fantasy 16. We didn't talk about the reason why I didn't talk about Assassin's Creed Mirage is because that's for the Ubisoft Showcase, and I know you're not much into that. So
I mean, it looks like it's going back to the old roots. Like it's not going to have RPG elements anymore.
Yeah,
which kind of makes it. It kind of gives it some points, some credit in my book. It's not something that I'll never touch. It's something that I'll maybe touch.
Yeah,
if I get it for free somehow. So it's a step up.
I'm not gonna come out and say it, but I am buying that digitally. So
are you now?
Yeah, so you should be good to go on that. How about Skull and Bones? Are you looking forward to that at all?
Remind me what that is. Oh, is that the pirate game? No,
it's a pirate game. Okay, all right.
I mean, honestly, okay. You know what? No, if some of my friends play it and they invite me to play it with them, then I'm good with that. Because I'm kind of getting tired of playing Fortnite. I want to find another multiplayer game that I can play with my friends.
Okay. On to the next one. Star Wars Outlaws. What do you think about that?
That looks cool. After playing Jedi Survivor, I kind of gets me itching from that to Star Wars action.
Yeah.
So,
we still got to talk about that.
We do. And I kind of like the idea of Outlaws. Like, Star Wars game, you're not like a legendary bounty hunter. You're not a Jedi. You're not, you're just a person, that's kind of surviving in this world. Like you're not a regular citizen, you're still an outlaw, but you don't have any super forces. You're kind of a side character. I kind of like that. I think it may bring me more closer to this, to all the dynamics and politics of the world, and see how they live. The only thing I didn't like was the.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the dialogue was kind of.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, I hope that. So I think her name is Kay Vess. That's what her name is. From what I'm reading, protagonist Kay Vess. Yeah. I hope that she'll be charismatic. I'm kind of worried she's gonna have a. Look, I just bought Forspoken. I just bought that game.
Oh God, I was just gonna make that. Did I just do that?
I just bought the game. I haven't played it yet. I probably won't until there's nothing else to play. But this girl, she's not quite there, but she's kind of giving me those vibes of the chick in that game. So I don't know, dude. I do like the third person shooter. I like the blasters. Riding on the what do you call those? That part with she's riding. Yeah, riding on the speeders. Yeah, I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. The protagonist, I'm still on the fence about that. So.
Yeah, I hope. Come on, like it's not that. They made me like Cal. They make me like the ginger Wonder Bread. I'm sure they can make me like this.
The ginger Wonder Bread. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, and the last one we're on Capcom showcase, and we'll breeze through this because they don't have much shit at all. But the thing about Star Wars in general is they announced Knights of the Old Republic, and then that shit just now obviously Ubisoft is making Star Wars Outlaws, but like we haven't heard shit about Knights of the Old Republic. What the hell?
It might not be happening. Have you heard about that?
No,
there was some news about it. It might not be happening.
Oh man, I hope that ain't true.
Yeah, me too, because it looks awesome.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like the idea of it, you know?
Yeah. Now we're on Capcom showcase. This was a quick one. No Resident Evil. That's weird. So this one is called Exoprimal. Have you heard of that?
Yes, that's the shooting dinosaur people.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's the same as Skull and Bones. Like,
yeah.
I'll take it. I'll accept it if it's fun enough. I'll accept it as a substitute for Fortnite. That's what I'm getting it.
How about Dragon's Dogma 2? Dragon's Dogma 2.
See, Dragon's Dogma 1 is a game that I still have to get around playing it, but I'm sure I'll like it. You know, people. I remember back in well, not only that, but back in the days, people said, "Oh man, if you're into Dark Souls, you're gonna be into Dragon's Dogma." You know, like similar atmosphere. You know, similar like RPG elements. And I'm like, sure, I'll get around to that. You know, 10 years later, we're still here. But one day I'll play him. I can guarantee you that. It's like the Yakuza. One day I'll definitely play him.
Yeah, one day, maybe before we're dead. The next one on the list is Kunitsu Gami, Path of the Goddess. This game looks really wild and trippy, very colorful. It kind of has like a samurai feel to it. I don't know. The gameplay looks iffy to me. It's called Kunitsu Gami, Path of the Goddess.
Yeah, let's see this. Oh yeah, this game looks absolutely wild. It looks a bit tacky though.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought the gameplay looked a little weird, but I mean, it might be all right.
It might be fun. Yeah, I mean, it looks very fun. It looks very fun. Keyword looks.
All right, let's see. Mega Man is an iOS game. We'll skip it. This next one I am intrigued by, but there's not really much gameplay for it. And this is probably, besides Resident Evil 9, this is one of my most anticipated games, and that is called Pragmata.
Oh, Pragmata. Yes, of course. Well, I don't know how it's pronounced, but I
don't know. I don't know what the hell this game is about. It's wild. You got like freaking, what's that movie that just come out with the doll that's like a robot killing people? What's it called? You know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
I do not remember what it's called. But anyway, that's what little girl reminds me of.
It looks like a Kojima game, you know? With all these trailers, you have no, like, the more you see about it, the less you understand what it's about.
Yeah.
And it's too bad that I hope that they don't get stuck in development for too long. Because I don't know if you remember, it was like scheduled for 2022. And then they made a cute trailer with a little girl like putting up a sign that said 2022 scratched and it's 2023 next to like a text that says like we're sorry. And now they made a new trailer which is just another postponement, but only that now they didn't even give us like a year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this one don't even have they don't even have a release window. It just says currently in development. So I don't know. I don't know how far that game is out, but it looks really, it looks interesting.
And I agree. I'm definitely interested in it. It's just it literally, they met some obstacles, because it was supposed to come out 2 years ago, 1 year ago.
Yeah, but it looks good. I mean, it showed a little bit of gameplay in that trailer for it, and showed a little bit with her up on your shoulders, and that she aids you in combat and stuff. So. It's got some promise, man. I'm interested, but I'm surprised. I'm surprised no Resident Evil though. No Resident Evil 9. They were kind of releasing games like once a year. Maybe they're taking a little break, and maybe we get Resident Evil 9 next year. But
well, I mean, did we get the Resident Evil 8 DLC pretty recently? And we're probably getting Resident Evil 4 DLC at some point. So I think we're gonna get all that before 9.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe they'll announce it at another time. But yeah, well, we grazed over the last few. I think really Summer Games Fest had way more of stuff that we were personally interested in, and then everything else just kind of skimmed over the stuff that we were already looking forward to. It with like the additive of a bunch of little kindergarten games.
Yeah, no, I agree. The only game that I was into that was not on Summer Game Fest was the Atlas games, like the Persona and Metaphasio thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm saying Metaphasio. I don't know what it's called, but
yeah. All in all, there's some stuff to look forward to, but I think it's like we were talking about before, like at the beginning of the show, like the trajectory of where gaming is going. It's like for me, I'm finding myself now. Don't get me wrong, like 2023 has been stacked this year with games. Like I compare this year to like 2018 with how many games came out that year. Like in recent memory, 2018 was for me personally, it was such a good year. It had Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption, and it was like several others came out in the beginning of the year. And I remember I was saying, man, we're eating good if we're gaming, man. Like if everybody's a lot like me, we got a lot of games to play. And then like 2019 was okay because it had like Days Gone and Death Stranding, I believe, and a couple others, but it wasn't like a huge year. And 2020, 2021, and 2022, there was games, but they were very like every so often. This year, it's been. I mean, you got to admit, man. I mean, starting with the Dead Space remake in January. I mean, we've had Hogwarts Legacy. We've had Resident Evil 4. We've had freaking. I mean,
Blockbuster for Blockbuster.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Hogwarts Legacy, just incredible games.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy year. So and it's not done. Like the whole back half of the year.
Honestly, the back half, I think it's way more interesting than the front half.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, also too, it's gonna be hard to. I'm not gonna be able to juggle all of them at one time. I'm gonna have to pick one, finish it. So probably, honestly, like Assassin's Creed Mirage and Alone in the Dark, and something else comes out right before Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 has got to Wake. Yeah, Alan Wake. Spider-Man 2 has to be a priority. I feel like that's got to be the game to beat. And obviously, we'll do an episode of that on here as well. I think Spider-Man
is possible.
Spider-Man has to be done first. I have to play that first, and then I can work on Mirage and everything else. So I'll probably still be playing Starfield as well, because as big as Starfield is, I'm not beating that shit that quick.
That's true. I mean, that's the kind of game that you don't want to beat as quickly as possible. It's fun to beat bit by bit in sessions. If it's anything with Skyrim,
Yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, everybody wants the next Skyrim, but there's only one Skyrim, man. There's only one Skyrim, and I don't think it can be replicated, man. I just don't think so.
Probably not. Yeah, no, I think it's just like the groundbreaking aspect of it not happening. Yeah. I mean, something else will come along. It won't be Skyrim.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's crazy is like Bethesda still has such a huge pull. Like it still has everybody by the nuts. And look what they've done here as of late with Fallout 76. I can't believe they're still releasing DLC for that piece of shit. I tried to play it like 6 months ago just to see how bad it was. It still sucks. It still sucks. That game is still out there. People are still playing the game. And I have my hands on the controller and I go to aim, right? I got my left trigger and I'm trying to aim down the sights of my gun. And he's not even aiming. He's not even going to the iron sights. I'm like hitting trigger. And I'm like, well, maybe my controller's going bad. I mean, that happens. I switched to another one. Same shit's happening. I deleted the game, reinstalled it. I closed out of it. I went back into it. Controls are still not working. How is that game still here? How?
I don't know. Some crazy Bethesda fans, I guess. All the people who bought the fucking mug cup.
I don't know, man. It's still crazy to me that that's even still a thing, and for it to still be this broken too. Like it's not.
I didn't know it was still this broken. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's still broken, and they're just not doing shit about it.
Oh, well, why would they? People are still buying it. People are still playing it. So.
Well, the good thing about it is that it's on Game Pass, So I mean, you can download it like a lot of these games that we mentioned before that with Xbox, like Fable, Starfield, I don't care about Forza, but Forza Motorsport, like any of these games, they come out like Persona 3, right? That you're talking about, that's coming to Game Pass day one.
That's crazy, yeah.
But like, if I was into that shit, I'd be excited as hell because I don't even have to buy the game if I don't want to. I probably like, even though I get Starfield off of Game Pass, I'll probably buy a copy of it because I'm interested in the game. But yeah, but I don't know. We got some stuff to look forward to, man. But I think with the trajectory, my fear is that as time goes on, maybe mostly me, maybe not you, but I fear that I won't be as into playing games as much. Like I'm worried about that. You know what I mean? I'm just not as excited about some of this stuff.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you fall out of love with video games, it's just something that's gonna happen, dude. But I don't believe that's gonna happen so easily. Like I see that glimmer in your eyes when you talk about the games you actually like. I think those kind of titles are still gonna be releasing. We might be having less games you're excited about, but maybe those few you're excited about, you're gonna be really into.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the back half of this year has got me so excited to be a part of this world anyway. Like, I'm super excited for that alone, all those games that come out, I'll be good for the rest of the year going into next year with all the games that are coming out. But it's just, I feel fear in a couple years, it could be a different story. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. All in all, it's some decent announcements, but it's not a lot. It's not a lot that really gets me super excited. But 7 Remake, obviously, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth looks amazing. Can't wait for that. Starfield looks good. Fable is questionable. There's a lot of good things to look forward to, but it's semi excited. I mean, how do you feel overall as far as everything we went through? How do you feel about?
I do agree that this year is pretty stacked. I kind of like it. And it gives us something to look forward to.
For this year, you talking about the showcase
for this year?
Oh, okay. What about the showcase?
I mean, that's what the showcase is for, right? I mean, the showcase for me is that just a little event where you grab some friends and watch some game announcements. I really don't. Maybe my expectations are so low that I don't care much. Like, I don't aspire for a revival of the golden days of E3, right? It's just a cool thing to watch,
Yeah.
A little. It's like watching the carnival for old people, I guess. It's just that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So, well, anyway, I think we just about covered all of it.
Right, we did it.
We've been at it for a long time, so we're gonna get ready to get on out of here. So, is there any last thoughts you want to say as far as the game shows and things you're looking forward to? Anything else you want to disclose before we get out here?
Yes, support physical games, and justice for the Call of Duty guy, and have a nice summer. Have fun.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I hate summertime. I can't stand it. It's too hot.
But I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's too hot. I don't like the heat, man. That's good. That's a good thing to mention. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. We're really excited for it. Not next week, but the week after, our July 2nd show will be fun. We'll have a new guest on. Emma from Once Upon a Quest will be on to talk about whatever. We don't really have a specific topic in mind. I know she's playing through the last. She's playing through The Last of Us Part 2 right now, so that's always a good
another excuse to talk about The Last of Us. Awesome.
She's also playing through Uncharted 3 right now too, so she's playing both of them at the same time on her channel.
Wait, is she playing through the whole Uncharted saga?
I believe so. Yeah, that's something you got to ask her. I'm pretty sure that she's going through these games for the first time. I don't think she's ever played them.
Awesome.
So I know she's part of that PS5 world, though. I know she's on that, so that's. She's part of the game. You know what I mean?
Just rise up.
Yeah, so she's been playing those 2 heavy hitters, Sony exclusives. So that'll be fun to talk about and see about that. I was watching real quick, and then we'll get on out of here. I was watching a gameplay. She was playing Uncharted 3, and she's playing the section where she went. Like it goes back in time to where Nate is like 13 years old, and he steals that key from Victor. I think it's a key. I think it's blue.
Yeah, it's a key.
And So you're jumping from like rooftop to rooftop to run away from Sully, I think is what it is. And she didn't know where to go. And she's like, let me just jump this way. And she just jumped right off the side of a building and just hit the ground. And the ragdoll physics were hilarious.
Yeah.
And then when she did it, she was like, damn. Like she was excited. Damn. I thought it was pretty funny. So yeah, it'll be fun. So she'll be on, and then I'm sure she'll bring some new eyes to the channel, and it should be good. Should be good. So but anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for coming back to another episode of Deadhead Podcast. This was a really fun one. We had a lot to talk about in this one. And yeah, we'll be back with another exciting episode for July 2nd. Have Emma for Once Upon a Quest and some good shows in the future. And I think me and Jan have already confirmed it that after the show with Emma, July 2nd, the following show will be our first Final Fantasy 16 first impressions
I concur.
Stream. So at that point, I know we'll be at least a few hours in, so we can talk about some things that we've encountered and things of that nature. So we got some good stuff coming for the Deadhead Podcast. So definitely stick around, and you will not regret it. Hopefully. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next one, and stay dead, my friends.
See ya.